a good way to see your butt. Until I found a way to rearrange them guts. What?
We couldn't hear the bit.
Oh, okay. Do I need to be louder?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll be louder like me clapping your dad's cheeks. Is that good? Is that a good take? Can we use that take in the intro? $500. I'll take the money. It's not gonna be for like us or anything.
You do know this is going into some sort of BTS.
That's great, dude. That's awesome, man.
It's gonna make it all the way to Korea.
And I'm glad, dude. I'm glad. That whenever I have sex with your father, someone will owe me $500. I'm so glad.
Look at that map. You tell me you see that map, you don't want to read that book? You don't want to read that book? You want to read that book right now? You look at that map, you don't want to read that book? You look at that other map, you don't want to read that book?
Look at that boy. Look at that boy.
Just a cat. What you
Cat. His name's BMO.
Oh.
He wants you to let go.
Oh. No.
He's a cat.
There's a cat.
Cat.
Directly to y'all. In a real-time review, baby.
Real-time review.
He's so excited.
Welcome in, everybody, to Real-Time Reviews. My name is Nick.
I'm Chandler.
I'm also Nick.
And to my right, for the first ever time on the Real-Time Couch, we have
Caleb. That's me.
Caleb's going to be joining us for future installments of this show and a couple others we got in the pipeline here at Real-Time Productions. We're just a group of nerdy guys who love science fiction and fantasy storytelling. We love sharing those stories with each other, and we love sharing them with you guys at home. Today, we went and saw the new Supergirl movie, directed by Craig Gillespie. I think I'm saying that right. I could be wrong. If I am, I apologize. But I'm going to say this next one right. Supergirl played by Millie Alcock. You didn't see this at home, but this is take number 26.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. We're going to get into our thoughts, but before we do that, I am going to pass it over to our resident real-time DC expert, producer Nick right here, because he knows far more about this world and these characters than I think anybody else sitting on these couches.
He has read every single Supergirl comic.
I've heard that Nick has read every comic from DC in existence.
This is true.
And
this is true.
Yeah.
Has agreed to public beatings if he gets trivia wrong.
This is also true.
Ask what happened in Swamp Thing number 75 in 1978.
I can almost guarantee you're already wrong.
100%.
And we'll see you guys in the spoiler-free section.
I think we're going to start with... No, you're first time on the couch. We'll start with you.
Yeah, not immediately putting me in the hot seat at all. That'd be crazy.
All right, you know what? Chandler instead.
Well, no. I wanted to go first.
My spoiler-free review will be pretty spoiler-free, I think. It's a superhero movie. Girl power. And I don't even know. Like, what choice words could I say for this movie? It was a good origin story for Supergirl. I think it told us what happened.
Oh my god.
That's the spoiler for your
Yeah, cool, dude. So
it tells you what happened.
That's for sure. You're not wrong.
Hey, you know Chandler's whole thing? Hey, stuff happened.
Stuff happened. It was one of the movies.
The characters went from like plot A to plot B.
Yeah.
All right.
My review will be a little bit more generous. I don't know. I liked it. Like it's like Chandler said, it is very much an origin story. I mean, it's the second movie in the DCU. We can't expect like any sort of super high stakes this early on or anything like that. But I don't know. I liked Millie Alcock's acting. I thought that there was definitely certain elements of the movie that felt a little bit underbaked. I think my only big critique would probably be the just development between Supergirl and Ruthie. But I don't know Ruthie's actress's name. But I don't know. I thought it was good. I liked most of the acting in the movie. Jason Momoa was also obviously a huge highlight. But you don't need to read any pieces of the comics. That was one of the first pieces of the DCU being established was, oh cool, Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo. That's going to be rad. And so I don't know. I think overall there were more highs than lows, for me. And that's pretty much it without getting into too much detail.
Nick?
Wow, this was a movie
Jesus.
that I did not enjoy.
Oh. You've been waiting hours.
I've been waiting hours to tell you guys how much I did not like.
Sorry
this
to
movie.
interject, but it's like it's been
Yeah.
nonstop. Nick just being like, we need to start so I can
spill.
talk.
Yeah.
I found this movie to be utterly confusing and baffling in the simplest way possible. I understood everything that was going on except for the motivations of the characters. And I felt like this movie had no sense of pacing to it whatsoever. There were elements of this movie that I think I really did enjoy, and we'll dig into those. But when I'm asking myself what I enjoyed, I think I'm digging pretty fucking deep on this one, to be honest.
Damn.
As somebody who we explained before we went into, like, just as a group, I haven't been to the movie theaters in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, what a shitty movie to go back to.
Damn.
That
Wow.
feels mean, and there's I'll get to it. Okay, I
Wow.
did not.
Should have gone back for Obsession.
I should have gone to
Should have gone
Obsession,
back for the
okay.
back room.
Yeah.
And it's weird for me coming off of how high I was on Superman
Yeah.
last year, which isn't a movie I saw in theaters. It's a movie I watched on my phone. And I had a much better time watching that film than I did watching this new Supergirl film. And yeah, I guess I'll leave my spoiler-free thoughts there.
Hey, Caleb, try not to touch this.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I just realized that.
Yeah. Well, I guess get to me.
Yeah, please, Nick, your spoiler-free thoughts.
As someone who's read the comic, there's some stuff that I was hoping was going to get adapted. There's stuff I was hoping was going to get adapted better. Because I know nothing's going to be a 1-to-1 adaptation. The design of the Big Bad, rough. But as
You
far
didn't
as
like BB Face?
Face.
You weren't a fan of BB Face Man?
Of the bedazzled man.
The bedazzled man?
That was his name, right?
That's what I thought.
Creme of the bedazzled. Creme of the bedazzled bosom. I don't know.
But I also, if the movie felt very safe, like they were playing it safe, it felt like they were going for a more generic superhero movie than I think it should have been. I think the Big Bad, from comic to page, got very dumb. The motivations got very dumbed down. It felt more like a generic comic book movie villain, like you would see from like 2000s, when it's like, yeah.
He reminded me of a Ronin from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
Like, where the focus was more on the Guardians
Yeah.
as opposed to the villain, and so the villain got really watered down.
Yep.
I was thinking Guardians of the Galaxy the whole time. I
Yes.
was like, this feels like
See?
a worse
Okay,
Guardians
yeah,
of
and
the
can
Galaxy.
I'm sorry, if you have more spoiler-free thoughts, I'd love to hear them, but I'd love to move into a spoiler section so we can talk about these comparisons to Guardians of the Galaxy.
I will just finish it with this. There are aspects that should have been adapted. Like, there are like a few that are like 10% better. Like, that's literally all some of it needed. Some of the stuff they added, I was also very iffy on. Overall, I did enjoy the movie. Obviously more than Nick did.
I feel like, okay, I want to amend my statement earlier.
Yeah, saying
what a shitty movie to go see is a
That's
rough
crazy.
one. That is a bit more aggro than I
My
meant
first
it.
movie going theater experience in 3 years, absolutely awful.
There were women in my movie.
I did dislike this movie, and not because there were women in the movie. Let's be very clear about that. There are fundamental issues with the way this movie was written, I think, and
Yes.
also a lot
Sure.
of choices that were being made.
Yeah.
If we can move into a spoiler section,
Yep.
is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have fucking issues with 90% of the needle drops in this movie. I don't think they fit.
Yeah.
The one in the bus. I don't think that
bad.
fits.
Oh.
There was like one or two, especially towards the end. I think I laughed out loud at the one towards the end of the movie. I think you
That
did as
one
well.
That
that
one
one fit. That reminded me of the Superman.
Can I? All right. I'll preface this. I had seen the very little bit that I had seen online was that there was this one really, really awful needle drop, and I'm not gonna lie. During the whole movie, I was sitting there going, like, thinking about that, going,
Which one is it?
the one at the end.
The only thing that
Well,
I saw,
I thought that was the best
Well,
one in the movie.
The only thing I saw online was that the last needle drop of the movie took, like, it was the last week of editing, and it
Yes.
took 45 songs to decide what
Yeah.
was the best one.
But and so I was sitting there. I was honestly sitting there the entire movie, kind of going, I'm not gonna lie, these needle drops haven't been that bad.
Here's-
Could the song choice have been better? Yes. But then we got to that moment, and I went, Oh, yeah, that's rough.
You didn't like that one.
The very end one.
The one, okay, we're talking
alright.
about the same one where
What was
all
the
of the
song
stuff is
again?
falling around. We're talking, it's a cover of, it's not My Own Worst Enemy. That's a different
No.
song from the same era.
But it's like an almost operatic version, but
Yeah.
not really.
I honestly,
yeah,
I
the
can't
one-
remember what the song was, but it was one of those dichotomy of like, there's a bunch of crazy stuff going on around you. And
Yeah.
you would have a
It
very,
reminded me of the song from Superman when
Yeah.
Lois and Mr.
Oh,
It's
Terrific-
really-
similar vibes.
that
I think
vibe
a
of
little
how
bit-
the scene was shot. I got a laugh out of that. I
yeah,
enjoyed that.
I
Yes.
very much enjoyed
The
that.
other needle drops in the movie, specifically the one in the bus, because this is the one where I thought about it the most. I was like, this does not fit this scene.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like they tried to do a thing where because she's carrying around these headphones, we're supposed to feel like the music's diegetic, but it doesn't feel that way.
No.
It feels like it's dropping in at the strangest moments.
Mm-hmm.
Whose music is this? Why are we singing English in this space bar? I'm confused.
Here's
Yeah.
my counteract to that. And this is not necessarily a DC thing, or it has to do with Supergirl. I've seen a thing in media that is, it'd be really fun if Earth's, or I guess it's more of an MCU thing because, in Guardians 3, you have all of the people that aren't Peter listening to Guardians music that
Right,
he
yeah.
obviously introduced them to. But the thought of Earth's main export being music, I do kind of
Yeah.
like. So I don't have an issue with her getting to Earth and being like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what? The first thing that I can connect to is music, because that's something that everybody actually does. It's
Yeah.
like to
Yeah.
connect to languages. I'm gonna
Yeah.
watch a show or listen to a song in that language. I think the issue that we're kind of getting at here is more of the needle drops in general.
Yeah.
And this movie doesn't really necessarily do them the best. I didn't not care for them. I
Yeah.
think the last one was the best.
I agree.
Again, the song is escaping me, but
Yeah.
I'm
It's
personally
escaping me as well. It's driving
I'm
me
a
nuts.
big fan of there's a crazy thing going on around you, and you have this. It's similar to Superman, the scene with Lois and Mr. Terrific, and you have this very chill song or very
Yeah.
upbeat, kind of
a
the
song that's anachronistic to the vibe
Yeah,
of what's
yeah, yeah.
happening behind it.
I do think that it seemed a little bit like a copying of James Gunn, because he does his needle drops really well.
Yes.
So it was like, oh, Superman had a bunch of these fun needle drops.
I got that vibe.
And because of and this is something a lot of people have already talked about, the marketing trying to be similar, even though the vibes of the movies are very different. They probably had that baked into the movie a little bit of, we need to have some of the classic James Gunn needle drops to establish the DCU, and it didn't necessarily fit the best.
I'm gonna give a positive, and I'm gonna give another negative because I
Sure.
want to justify. I feel like you guys like this movie more than I do, and that's fine.
That's okay.
That's
No.
okay. You're allowed to like
Yeah.
this more than I
You're
do. You
wrong.
at home are allowed to like this more than I do. Nobody cares.
But you're not.
Me,
but
least
you're
of
not
all.
allowed to like it less than.
But you're not allowed to like it less than I do. Then you're a piece of shit.
Then you're sexist.
Yeah.
I'll give a high and a low. Okay, high, Millie Alcott.
Yes.
Yes,
I really did
100%.
enjoy her
Yep.
performance. I thought that she really looked the part. I thought that she was playing the scenes well. I think that the writing in this movie was bad.
Yeah.
And whether it was trash, I don't think so. But I don't think it was good. I don't think it was even really middling. Motivations are muddy. The only motivation in this movie that made sense to me was why Supergirl would go fight this guy.
Yeah.
I understood that it was for the dog and for the antidote.
But
That
what,
was it.
what about Ruthie's motivation?
I hated that.
But-
I liked the actress. I felt like she was doing a good job, and I want to be clear about that because here at ReelTime we do not make fun of child actors.
Oh, absolutely
We just
not.
don't.
Yeah.
We're not going to engage in that.
Yeah.
It's not her fault that this movie turned out the way that it
She
did
was
for
good.
me personally. I liked her.
Yeah.
She's
The
fine.
way she was written infuriated me.
Okay.
Who is this girl? Why does she have martial arts skills? What, her dad made swords. Okay, we saw 30 seconds of that in the intro, and then now for some reason this person becomes the most capable fucking child on this alien planet that just looks like Earth, by the way. There's aliens all over the place, but every time they fucking cut to a wide shot, we're in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Why? Why does it look like Earth? Why is it a human planet when there's aliens all over the place? Why do we have a normal fucking bar on this planet? And this child shows up in the bar and she does this whole speech like she's fucking Inigo Montoya, okay? And it pisses me off because for the rest of the movie, she's supposed to be like our emotional anchor, and I don't understand. The whole scene in the bar I thought was supposed to establish that she was out of her depth. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
I think
She walks into the bar, she's like, this is my father's sword, my super special father,
Yeah.
and then a guy walks up and steals the fucking sword. Supergirl has to help her out of that situation.
Here,
Done.
let's let.
I think that's going to be a great segue right there
I agree.
to immediately jump into some comic stuff.
I agree. Please tell me. Please tell me.
Okay. This isn't going to fix anything.
Okay,
It's going to
great.
it's going to potentially make you more upset.
I love it.
Okay.
Just throw.
So
throw
in
that.
the comic, spoiler for the comic, by the way. I feel like at this point, if we're talking
Hey,
about the movie,
We're in the
real-time
spoiler
reviews.
section.
Yeah, real-time
To give it the
reviews.
same
Hey
preface
guys, we're
we
in the
gave-
spoiler section now.
yeah,
Here-
we're in the
here-
spoiler section now.
Sorry, here at real-time
We-
reviews, to give the same
yeah.
preface we did last time, we want to dig a little bit deeper
Yep.
on the stuff we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So if there is an adaptation of the movie we're going to see, we'll do our very best to look into it and see kind of
Yep.
what the differences in the adaptation
Absolutely.
are. For this one, I did not read this comic book. I know Chandler also didn't, and did you?
I read like Nick, producer Nick, actually got me one of the trade paperback for my birthday, but
Beautiful.
I have yet to finish it, which I kind of wanted to do because sorry to kind of like cut us off here, but I do think a reason that you're possibly a little bit more critical though is because you've read the comic,
Yeah.
and that's completely fair.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously like, oh, I wish they had done this moment, like especially if everybody is gonna have a different favorite moment.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of the time. But no,
Your doctor
I
was
didn't
really late.
finish reading it.
Your doctor really was late.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we
Um,
are going to pass it over to our resident DC expert who has read the comic for this one,
Which-
who can explain to
Yep.
us why this movie
Yep.
didn't connect to me, apparently.
I'm gonna say this. Do not watch the movie and think the comic's bad. This comic is genuinely phenomenal. The version of the story in the comic, excellent, amazing. The art, beautiful. The colors, gorgeous. That's one of the big things that was disappointing about the movie for me. I'm not saying they had to make the colors in the movie that accurate.
The colors do not pop.
It felt
out.
very
Yeah.
dark.
It was very
It's
dark.
muted. It felt like an episode of Game of Thrones.
So exactly.
Millie Alcock's there.
Yeah.
So.
One of the big things is Creme of the Yellow Hills.
Where were the Yellow Hills?
Well, the planet that they're on, I can't think of the name. Like, the ground and the wheat and the plants are kind of yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's very on the nose, but like that would have been such a like it's not a bright yellow. It's not like sun yellow, but it's a yellow hue versus just brown.
The reason I made that face was because genuinely trying to think about this movie, I couldn't remember if we saw Yellow Hills at any point, and I think
Yeah.
that's just a testament to the
Yeah.
color of this movie being as muted as it is.
and
Because there's no visual
yeah.
in my mind of like, oh yeah, that
Yeah.
grassy yellow hill.
Yeah, and that kind of goes. Sorry,
No, you're good. I'm just trying not to spoil things, but
no, gotcha.
one of the scenes is a fucking desert. We're just
Yeah,
desert.
Can I give a quick, while we're on the thought of color,
Yeah.
a quick thought is it's like, I think part of that might just have to do with like, because color grading, obviously, like, you know, we are in space. We
Yes.
are going off of a book that is extremely vibrant,
Yes.
and you want that to translate to screen well.
Mhm.
But in terms of like the character's story
Mhm.
and their arc, then the colors often just reflect that very
Yes.
heavily. So it's like the entire first part of the story, she's creme of the yellow hills. I guess before, you know, spoilers,
Mhm.
Crypto got shot, then
We're in
things
the
could have
spoiler
been
section.
a,
We're good
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah. Before that, then they could have had things a little bit brighter. But even after that, you know, the bulk of the movie, before she fully comes into her own and is like, I realize now the beacon of good that I need to be, and puts on the suit, then the colors could have gotten a little bit brighter, which I think
Yeah.
they did in moments.
which did There
But
were
just to
moments.
talk about
Yeah.
the color grading in general,
Absolutely.
I think that could somewhat align just with her character arc.
Yeah.
To give them some credit, but I will agree, it was dark,
I
and
don't
it kind of
think it-
reminded me of the DCEU.
I don't
Yeah.
think
In
it-
moments.
I don't think it needed to pop the way that Superman last year popped, because
Yeah.
that one was a color pop movie.
Yes.
His suit was super
Yep.
blue.
That's-
the nymph outside was
Yeah.
super pink and purple and whatnot. We didn't need to necessarily hit that. I just felt like the lack of color and the dulling of colors and the muddiness of it did make it less interesting in the quieter moments of this
Yeah.
movie. And I agree, there were moments of color pop. The
Yeah.
green sun comes into mind.
Yeah.
It's like a color pop moment.
We'll get there.
That's okay. We can talk broadly
Yeah.
about those things. We're gonna get
Yeah,
to the recap itself.
Yeah.
But outside of color, what else would you like to say about the
So going back to the comics, so there's a massive change from the comic to the page, or from the page to screen. I understand why they did it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of the only way that they could have really done it. In the comics, the planet Ruthie is on is more like technology-wise, like late 1800s, rural. They don't have spaceships. They don't have like technology, communicate. Like literally, Supergirl describes her ship to Ruthie as, "Oh, it's a horse that lets you leave the planet." But and here's why I understand the change. It's because in the comic, they don't really show how they get off planet. It ends with Supergirl's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring you with me," and then literally first page of the next issue, they're already on a space bus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I get it, but it's one of those. I think it kind of weakened Krem's character a little bit. That's the only reason I'm kind of bringing it up, because Krem is from that planet. Krem is also he's like a king's person there. He's not like he works for the king.
He's a noble.
Not a noble.
He's a warlord.
No, he like works in the.
We're trying here.
I'm also trying, but the book opens up with an in shadow view of Krem just murdering Ruthie's father, and her whole motivation, instead of it being her whole family, it's her father.
Great.
After Krem deceitfully stayed the night, they fed him, and then in the morning he just because he's testing the dad on if he is loyal to the king.
See, I would have been more interested in a version of that scene that didn't play out as an intimidation from the start.
Exactly.
Because I think that did make a weaker version of the scene overall. But my question still stands. Mm-hmm. Does the comic book then go into an arc where Ruthie does martial arts training?
No.
Because in this fucking movie, she walks into this bar with a nutsack made of iron
so,
in front of all these mercenaries.
Yeah, and so kind of moving on from that, and so you actually have... they go through a very quick thing about like how death is like this thing about like they don't mourn that whole. It's like, hey, we celebrate it. Beautiful thing. Not going to go too deep into it. But so Ruthie's mom actually.
BMO. Hey. No, sir.
Ruthie's mom actually gives Ruthie blessing to essentially go try and get something, because like Ruthie's mom is like, I know you're going to go do it. I'm not going to stop you. There's no point in fighting it. And so Ruthie goes into town, into a bar, or into more of a tavern in this world.
Right.
And is actually going around one by one to these big, strong looking dudes. And how Supergirl ends up coming in is she's just happens to also be there. This one dude takes a sword, because the sword is a big thing of it.
Right.
And takes a sword and basically goes, yeah, I'm gonna go find him. Piss off. Just taking the sword basically, kind of similar to how the movie did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Supergirl shows up and goes, hey, don't do that. And then kind of show, but also it's also used as a way to show Supergirl is, even without her powers, still a fighter. But Ruthie, it also establishes Ruthie is out of her element. And that is a point that they did miss in the movie.
I don't agree with that. I think they did establish that she was out of her element. Like, I don't know.
She's out of her element in that moment, and then 4 scenes later, she looks Supergirl dead in her eyes and goes, "You're a drunk bitch, and I hate you." So, and that's why all of your life is wrong. She's got the confidence of a 26-year-old man who's been to therapy.
You're 100% right.
Yeah.
Like, they did her character not. I haven't read the book, but like, the biggest complaint that I have about the movie, like I said, is the relationship between the two of them.
Yeah.
I feel like every moment, and to bring up something that hasn't been brought up yet, whenever you were out of the theater.
Well, no, let's not say that yet.
Not get there.
We have a segment.
Okay.
We have a segment.
We got a whole segment dedicated to piss breaks. But it's like I felt like all of the moments that were dedicated to connecting it to the greater DCU and making sure that obviously great Superman, or David Cornswell's great as the Superman, but making sure that he was there could have been spent building Ruthie and Supergirl's relationship more.
Yeah.
And also, maybe establishing a little bit more of like, okay, you're going to kill the dad. You're one to get vengeance.
Yep.
That's a tried and true story.
Yeah. And
just adding more depth to it.
I was gonna say, building off of that, I'm gonna jump ahead to a moment a little bit later in like middle of the second book or the second issue. It's an insignificant moment, but because of the way they had to change Ruthie's world, they couldn't have done it without it just looking bad. There's a moment of bonding between Supergirl and Ruthie that this is a moment I was disappointed we didn't get. This is gonna sound weird. Supergirl teaches Ruthie how to wash her hands.
Oh, I remember that.
And because
she's from a farm world.
Yeah, she's from a very rural world where they literally bathe once a year. They have a bathing season. Her in the comics, like 6 brothers all share the same bathtub, the same bath water once a year. But it's one of those moments where Ruthie is just she sees this wonder. Like she's going from 1800s rural, middle of nowhere England to, we're in space. And we have soap.
There's a universe out here.
There's a universe. But it's just and it's just stuff like that. It's like, Ruthie is actually seeing this softer side of Supergirl for the first time.
Right.
And it's not having little moments like that really felt. It just made it where it's like I felt like these characters didn't actually connect.
Okay, I think I will say this because I feel like we're moving a little bit away from the comic book. I know that was a comic book moment, but let's not compare it to the movie too much right now. We just want the broad overview.
What are the biggest
differences
between the two?
And that's why I was bringing
the little moments in general.
The little moments, like why that felt so rushed in
We've
comparison.
Just done the comic book section longer than I think we intended to.
Yeah, exactly.
We should all avoid talking about the movie in this section.
Yeah,
talk
absolutely.
About the comic book.
So
I've done it too.
Yeah,
Sorry.
So kind of keeping going with the comic. From there, they finally get back to a yellow sun. Back to the yellow sun that that Supergirl actually launched off of to get to Ruthie's planet. And they actually go to this world, investigate some stuff. They find out that this planet has like a bunch of like this racism
Corrupt
between
politicians.
Yeah, corrupt politicians. There's like these purple people and these blue people, and there's literally signs like over water fountains say "No blues allowed,"
right?
Stuff like that. And Ruthie gets to kind of see another kind of different side of Supergirl. And throughout all this we find out at the end of the book that the story is being told by Ruthie at the end of her life. Okay. So that's like her book. So it's kind of also another reason why some of this is bonding stuff on why a lot of it feels so much lower in it. But yeah, and they go from there.
So I'm sorry, I have a question. Mm-hmm. The Woman of Tomorrow title, is that like in the book a moniker that Ruthie gives to Supergirl? Or
I believe so at the end.
Okay. Because I would have loved something like that. Even if they're not going to call the movie Woman of Tomorrow, I would have loved something like that to build off of.
Absolutely.
I think the relationship between them in the book sounds much cleaner and more developed.
Yes. But yeah, and so kind of going from there. It's also been a while. I've been rereading it. I probably should have done it a lot sooner. So going from
it's not like we were seeing the movie or anything.
Yeah,
it's not like we were. It's not like we made this plan a month ago, Chad.
Well, it's been a long.
It's been a long month.
But anyway, it's been a long month. But going from there, I know at one point they meet Krim. Krim doing his whole criminal thing. He actually ends up joining some space pirates. Some actually cool looking space pirates. Not just that generic ones we got in the movie. And so he actually ends up becoming the leader of them because of his like brutality that these pirates don't have for some reason.
Right.
And ends up causing a bunch of havoc across a bunch of different planets, and that's actually how Supergirl and Ruthie end up following Krim. Is they're like,
they're following a trail.
They're following the trail of the violence.
I feel like we've missed something. Is Crypto shot in the comic?
Yeah. Oh, yes. He is.
Okay. Cool. I just want to make sure that the motivation for Supergirl.
That is
because that's the thing that was clear to me about the movie.
Yeah. that is the exact same way.
Okay.
They end up on the same path together.
Cool.
But yeah, kind of going from there, shenanigans happen. At one point, this part was a little confusing in comics for me. Krim had this weird particle thing that could teleport someone, but like it's also extremely fast and will target you. This element, weird comic booky stuff.
That sounds like they maybe adapted a little bit with the Space Pirates.
Yeah,
because
that's
they
what
have that
I
kind
was
of
talking about.
teleporting device. Is that similar?
So what ends up? It's not. It's a particle. It's weird. It's weird.
Okay.
It's but this is actually how Supergirl ends up on the planet. Supergirl and Ruthie end up on the planet with the Green Sun.
Okay.
And this planet was actually made, with this Green Sun, with this Kryptonite sun, was made by Lex Luthor as a prison for Superman.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
We briefly talked about the Green Sun earlier, and you had a very big reaction to it, so I understand why now.
And so, not name dropping that, it makes it go okay. It felt like they were trying to induce some mystery.
I mean,
and also not just calling it a Kryptonite sun, because now it's making it feel like she can't do the color green.
I was confused about that.
Yeah, but so this is actually a way that you see in the comics. Supergirl is a lot of times stronger than Kal-El.
Right.
Because as they're leaving, as they finally are able to get off, I think Supergirl mentions, or no, when they first get there, Supergirl is telling Ruthie, you need to figure out a way to get off. I cannot help you. I'm going to die here. And she says that when Clark was imprisoned here, he barely lasted 3 days before they were able to get him out. Supergirl and Ruthie were there for 3 weeks. Right. Also, the timeline on Crypto dying was not a thing in the book.
I forgot to mention that earlier. That's one of my biggest complaints as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is completely unrelated to the comics.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I hate when movies give us an arbitrary timeline.
Yep.
I agree.
You have 24 hours. You have 72 hours. It's like, I think a part of what makes the comic run of Woman of Tomorrow so good, at least, again, I haven't finished it yet, but it's like, a good road trip story needs to take place over a long period of time.
Yeah.
It needs to breathe. You need those slow moments to be able to build growth. Like, I don't know, just to give it a comparison to recent other movies, like Deadpool and Wolverine, I think they're both inherently the same concept of you have two characters that aren't really going to get along. You know, one of them really needs something from the other one doesn't want to give it. But you have to force them in this close proximity. They have an aligned goal, whether they like it or not. But that movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, gave Deadpool and Wolverine more time to like establish their relationship with each other, then dismantle it, then build it back together. Whereas this movie, it felt like we were just watching Ruthie slide along with Supergirl the entire time, and then eventually, after their biggest falling out, decide to save Supergirl's life, which is fair. You know, it's like Ruthie did obviously see Supergirl being good and learned to be good as well, but it's like, okay, we never saw them being close. Why does it matter that they're rekindling now? You know, like, there's no depth here.
Exactly. It felt like in the movie it was more of we're watching this non-relationship get destroyed, and all of a sudden they have a relationship.
Yeah.
But and so I don't remember how they get off. I do think the cycle of like the yellow sun and the green sun, because Lex, he can't just make a whole star disappear.
Right.
I think that's how they end up getting off. And this time, when Supergirl confronts Krem again this time, he has another particle. Apparently, they were supposed to be extremely rare. She wasn't expecting him to have another. This is where they actually introduce her like horse, Super Pegasus horse thing.
So this is different than what she describes her spaceship as? This is just an actual Pegasus?
This is an actual like horse.
Okay, great.
You know that panel you kind of open to?
I saw the horse.
But
I saw the horse, damn it.
But
horse.
But this time, Supergirl with the horse actually is able to outrun the particle until I think the particle dissipated or something.
Fast ass.
Again, weird comic stuff. It's been a minute since I read the book past this point, or past that racist planet. And so they end up fighting. They end up on a planet. Supergirl is up fighting the pirates at the ship after apprehending Krim. Because she's like, I have to stop the pirates. If I don't stop them, they're gonna go do other bad stuff.
Yeah.
Actually has Krim apprehended. He's tied up with Ruthie down there on the planet, and Ruthie is debating killing Krim right then and there, going against Supergirl's wishes after promising Supergirl she wasn't going to do it. And it's a big emotional moment in the book. She doesn't, and that's something that does play out well from the screen to the page. You know, that they did well was adapting the, hey, we're good, you can go, but then Supergirl turning around and killing Krim herself.
So that
Sorry,
happens
hold right there.
Yeah.
Another motivation problem that I have with this Supergirl movie. Is it at any point explained to us why Supergirl is so opposed to having this girl kill this guy? I understand why Superman would not want her to do that. Why the fuck does Supergirl care?
In the movie,
aside from just like a moral thing of like, yeah, this kid probably shouldn't kill this person.
In the
that
movie,
would be bad for them.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. In the movie,
Great. I wish they'd said it.
Yeah.
In the movie,
I wish that there had been
Who
any
did
sort of
Supergirl
implication
kill?
of like why. Who did she? Because that's what they're leading
Who
me
did
to.
Supergirl kill?
The whole movie, they're leading me down a crumb trail where she's like, if you do it, it
If
lives
you
with
kill
you
somebody,
forever.
it's gonna
You're
destroy
gonna have it
your
in your heart.
soul.
You gotta carry that with you.
Yep.
And then she just kills the guy anyway, and I'm like, okay, so you
Yep.
don't care either. Why do you care
Yeah.
if she does it? Why would you take her revenge from her
Protecting
then,
her
Supergirl?
innocence.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This is a kid that acts like a grown up in most scenes that she's in.
Sure.
And so here's the thing. That's something the movie did not do that they should have done from the comic. Or that's.
I'm just saying.
Well,
Everybody looked at me like I was crazy.
No,
last night. I didn't
no.
like this movie.
No.
No, I get it. I
so-
get it.
and that is something that the movie did not have that the book did.
Right.
Where the book, it's very obvious this is an already established Supergirl.
Right.
Versus the movie where it's this new universe,
And-
new life.
Again, I think that's the biggest thing that works against it. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Is, and if you want to get into that segment, we can. But it's like, there were scenes where it's like, it's dedicated to, and I like this for movies, of dedicated like flashbacks that are very silent, like, it is very introspective of like, this is her, it's like, I guess a little bit of a cop-out of just going flashback, this is her development.
Yeah.
But it's like, I like that it didn't feel like a Netflix movie. Like, it didn't feel like it was reminding me of the plot every 5 minutes. It's like, oh, this is her life. This is what she's been through.
Hi, this movie, Krypton looked cool as fuck.
Krypton looked
Yeah.
dope.
I liked the way
It did.
Krypton looked.
I love the way that it floated
Yeah.
out. I hope to God that there's some sort of other bullshit that happened on Krypton that kept...
Sorry, just one moment. BMO, baby, you cannot do that. You're making noise on the recording, my love.
I hope that we don't, like, because I don't know, I'm not as well versed in the comics and, like, the shows as everything as I'd like to be. No, I hope that we get more from Krypton in the future, because, again, like, I think it worked against because it's not an established universe. That's a benefit that the book has. We didn't get to see more of the development from Supergirl and Ruthie, but we did see like development for Krypton, because that's obviously a question. But then we didn't see any of the stuff where it's like, I know that in the comics there's like a city has been like shrunk, and like eventually there's people from Krypton that come back, and it's just like, I don't know, I like things being a little bit more open-ended as opposed to here's the one chunk that fell off, then everyone died, and Supergirl is presumably the only survivor. And I know the Phantom Zone is also a thing with her in the comics, and that was completely overlooked. And like, I don't know.
Her power scaling in this movie, and
It was inconsistent.
I'll leave this as my last complaint that I speak on specifically before we get into the recap section. The power scaling was weird. I felt, as a person who is not deeply immersed in Superman lore and Supergirl lore, I was confused about when she was strong and when she was not. And I think that last year's Superman movie did a much clearer job at communicating to its audience what we could expect the powers to be.
Yeah.
If we're looking at that movie and we're looking at the scene of Superman in the like dimension jail,
With the
kryptonite metamorpho, right?
Yeah, Metamorpho.
That scene to me is so clear that Superman is unable to do what he's supposed to do while the kryptonite's in the room with him. Supergirl's pulling kryptonite arrows out of herself and still doing like unibeam blasts out of her eyes.
I would say, sorry to cut you off,
No,
I think
that's
that's
okay.
partially a thing that is like, it is a part of her character in that
But they
aspect.
have to explain that. They don't explain that at all in this movie.
I don't think they really, maybe it's just like agree to disagree. I don't think they really need to. It's like she is a hardened person. It's
Right.
like she has dealt with all of this grief and like has obviously I think she has killed people before. It just kind of gives off that vibe. And I do agree that some of it could have been like explained a little bit more. But I don't know. I think that she just like is a hardened person that I kind of lost that train of thought.
We can agree to disagree on this, but I do want to. I want to challenge something you said, and that's that it doesn't need to be. I think it does because we're talking about essentially a magic system. We're talking. We there has to be rules to this for any of this to make sense, and I think that's why Superman as a character has been so not disliked but waysided for so long is because we have those movies where he can just fucking turn back time. Where the rules don't make sense, the rules don't matter, his powers aren't consistent, right? We talk about that with stuff like Harry Potter. Where the fuck did the time turners go? You just make up a solution to a problem and then you move on. And so 3 movies later, I'm going, well, why doesn't she just pull the kryptonite arrows out of
having
it
an established
and fucking do the thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
And what we know of Kryptons in the Kryptonians in this universe is that they're weak to kryptonite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we're going to make a change to that rule, the movie has to explain that to me, the dumb DC viewer who's never read a DC comic book. That's
I
not
guess
Batman.
it also like he, Krem was a pirate. Had kryptonite arrows that were like infused with some shit. They probably weren't like pure kryptonite or
Right.
like as good as like Lex could probably make on Earth.
Yeah.
But I guess my ultimate point, kind of like recaught the train,
That's okay.
is that I think Clark is a little bit more of a Boy Scout in like a bit of like a. I don't mean that in a negatory way, but it's like he is, a little bit more visible to pain. It's like, oh shit, like he's, gosh darn it, that sucks.
Yeah.
Whereas Supergirl is gonna swallow it and then just bite the pain,
Yeah.
and like she is weak, but like in the comics, some bits that I read, I do know it's like she's on a red planet, and she's still kicking ass. Just because, like, I think she is a skilled enough fighter and she just doesn't care enough to where, like, sort of a Moon Knight sense where it's like she's used to being invulnerable, so she's just kind of going to throw herself at you.
And to be clear, I have no issue with that being her
You just
character.
wanted it to be...
I needed to explain because for me, as a casual viewer of the DC universe, in that scene at the start of the movie, let's move into this recap in a second, where we are... It's not the first scene, but it's like the second scene. We're in the bar.
Yeah.
She comes out of the bar, she fights that guy, and at this point it's been established that we are on a planet with the red sun. But she's doing ninja moves and kicks this guy who's 3 times her size,
But
off of this animal. And for me, I'm sitting there going, why can she do that?
Yeah.
I needed a line. I needed something that just tells me that Supergirl is not as depowered by this.
Yeah.
I guess you could, like, are you saying that just a one-off line of being like, hey, I'm
I don't need them to explain it for 5 minutes.
But you're saying, like, I'm small, he big, you got to use that to work against him, like, just something like that.
Yeah,
I
I just needed something. I needed them to explain the rules to me, especially because I think we have to look at what the DC universe is as a whole right now.
Sure.
And coming off of the DCEU, which, like it or not, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's a series I didn't engage with. I have not engaged with this group of superheroes.
Yeah.
I'm running off of Marvel.
Don't know
movies.
any of these
I've
characters.
seen Tim Burton's Batman. I've seen the Nolan trilogy. My first Batman movie was Batman v Superman. I'm sorry, my first Superman movie was Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Right?
You already jumped in very low.
And I understand that I'm not the
Martha.
only person in the world. Right? Exactly, Martha. I'm not the only person in the world. People have different experiences. Plenty of people are going to this movie who do know DC lore. But I think given the state of the DCU and what the DCEU was and what DC movies were before that, there is a larger population of people who just don't know.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You have to explain it to them.
That's fair.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, no, that's okay. I'm done.
I think I'm gonna say this kind of wrap up some of the stuff that we're talking about, like about some of the stuff, and going back to the writing. I think the writers in the writers' room, when they were when the movie was being written, I think that they kind of forgot that this is not an established Supergirl character.
I agree.
And that's very evident. Like if this had been like Supergirl, like a Supergirl movie, like her third movie, and we saw her doing that stuff, depowered, it would like, hey, yeah, we've seen her fighting. We've seen her do Because that is something that they do touch up in like various comics, where Superman, like Kal-El, Clark, all them, they do learn how to do some actual fighting in case they are ever depowered, in case they ever need to, and and again, and that's some subtext that you just kind of know you're reading a comic that's like almost 100 years old, or we're coming up on 100 years old. There's there's already this history of like, these characters have been fighting for a century.
Right.
They know how to fight, and so that's the thing. That's just another thing that does weaken the movie.
It weakens it overall.
And I don't know if we've mentioned it previously already. Is like that was also an issue with marketing. Is like they're treating this like it's already an established character, and it is. Like there was the Supergirl. I can't remember if it was a show or a movie.
No,
I'm talking about the live action.
Yeah, CW.
No. I'm not even. I'm talking about like they've been doing Supergirl. There's been multiple live action Supergirls too.
Oh, you mean like the original live action?
There's that,
Yeah.
and then there's also the show.
There's there's
Christopher Reeves' Supergirl was.
that was Christopher Reeves. Then we
Yeah.
also had Smallville.
Yeah.
Courtney Van. I'm not going to say her last name because I'm going to say a
But you're
WB
right,
her
where
last
it's
name
like
instead.
there's
But
been previous interpretations, but we definitely like they were treating Supergirl in this aspect like she has the same name recognition as Superman and same exact vibe.
Yeah.
I think
Or
we
like-
could have even solved this problem, and it's not Superman the movie's fault for not solving this problem, but we could have even solved it there. We got a scene of her at the end. We could have gotten some throwaway line. We got the throwaway line of like she loves to party on planets with a red sun. We get no intonation of what that means for a Kryptonian in this new DCU.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like at the end of Superman the movie when she shows up to collect crypto, we get like a line from Superman. I think he told her the
She likes to
robots.
play. Yeah.
They could have thrown something in there. As the DCU as a whole, they just need to explain what the fuck they're doing.
I think that's what that scene was. Was like,
she likes to party on a planet with a
I
red
guess-
sun.
Okay.
What does that do
Well,
for
alright.
Krypton?
I'm confused by your critique. What
okay,
your critique-
real quick.
I'm not critiquing
Yeah.
Superman the movie. What I'm saying is, again, I'm still on the point. They have to explain these things to a new audience. The
So-
DCU is a
okay.
new thing.
I'm so sorry.
You keep butting in while I'm talking.
I'm so
You have to
sorry.
wait till I'm done.
I'm so
I'll
sorry.
point to you. I promise. Go ahead.
Okay. This is probably going to get cut out, but in context of the movie, they do.
In what way?
When Superman says he needs a
yellow
sun.
sun.
He needs a yellow sun.
They've already explained that. Yeah.
Okay, so I know.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. I agree 100% with that, and that's why I have a
They
problem.
said that in
with
the movie as well.
it. No, that's why I have a problem with it.
But in Supergirl,
That's why I have a problem with it.
Okay.
Because they explain in Superman that Superman is depowered by kryptonite.
Yes.
And he needs a yellow sun to
Yes.
bring him back. Okay?
Mhm.
Kara is able to just pull kryptonite out of her body, and within seconds she's fine again. She lifted herself 3 feet off the
But
ground,
she's
and now
also
she's
in the-
spinning around doing.
But she's
lasers
also
again.
in the middle of the
They
sun.
showed us. No, I mean
In that fight.
She
okay.
has the yellow sunlight on her.
Again, they make a point to show us him firing 7 kryptonite arrows into Kara.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
within 30 seconds of
You're-
that moment, she pulls them out
That's
and she's
fair.
fine again.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's not well explained.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I get that we get the visual of like them going into her bloodstream and cleaning up
Yeah.
the green, but frankly, I feel like they added that because they're like, it's not clear what's happening here.
That's
Because
fair.
they have not established the rules of what it means to come back from being a depowered Kryptonian. They just briefly showed us what that looks like with Superman.
Yeah.
But you guys are telling me Supergirl's actually kind of different, and she's ultra powered, and it doesn't affect her in the same way.
Yeah.
They gotta explain
That's
that
what
to
the
me.
movie's kind of.
I'm a dumb man.
insinuating.
I'm a dumb Spider-Man enjoyer. Okay, Spider-Man doesn't get stabbed with green rocks and loses powers.
He
And
just
when
gets stabbed.
When he gets sad and loses his powers, the whole movie explains that to me.
Yeah.
The whole movie is about how Spider-Man's having a crisis
Yeah.
of identity, and that's why he can't do the web slinging.
Yeah.
This movie's like, she has powers, now she doesn't have powers. Now she's on a planet with a red sun, and she kind of has powers. Now she's got powers again. Now it's a green sun, now it's a yellow sun. And I'm like, great. Somebody give me the rule book, please. Anyways.
With
Let's
that,
move forward.
And with that said, we are going to move into the plot recap section of this. Now,
Wow.
we've done one of these before. We did it for No Way Home. I have no idea what the release schedule looks like for that, so I don't know which of these is coming to you guys at home first. But I do know that we talked for roughly 5 hours in No Way Home in that record, and we're going to do our very best to bring that down. We're going to talk about general vibes of this movie. We're going to move through scene by scene still, but we're going to take it at a much quicker clip. So this movie starts quite simply in a fucked up room. We've got Supergirl sleeping in a bed. We've got Crypto pissing everywhere. And you can clearly tell a party has happened quite recently, okay? Moving away from that, we got to take Crypto outside, but we're in a spaceship, so going outside means being in space. That's why he can't pee outside, okay? We end up in a bar somehow. I don't fucking know. Supergirl's just on a fucking bender these days, okay? We're in a bar and Supergirl's on a planet with a red sun, partying on the planet, okay? She's getting hammered. And sorry, I've already messed up this plot recap a little bit. We're going to rewind ever so slightly to the start of this movie before Supergirl's in the super fucked up hangover room to this random house on a planet with a family that's not established. Okay? The dad makes swords, and that's important. Remember that, you guys at home. The dad makes swords, and his swords are so good that these barbarian rogue men are showing up to take those swords. And this family's gonna give them up. They're gonna give them up. But oh wait, no, they're actually all dead. And guess who's alive? The daughter. And guess what? She's an important character in this movie. Don't forget her face. Okay? Now we go see Supergirl, and she's hungover, and eventually we end up in this bar where this extremely brave child walks in, explains her situation. Barbarians have come and killed my family. I need one of you brave warriors in this bar to help me out and come with us. No, of course that's not what happens. One of them tries to steal the sword. Supergirl follows this outside. My understanding is just that generally Supergirl's not going to allow this to happen to a child. Does get the sword back through some combat. That again, I found this power scaling very confusing in this moment. I wasn't, as a dumb audience member, aware of what Supergirl was able to do on a planet with a red sun. But she's able to kick his ass with some super cool fucking gymnastic moves, swinging underneath the tusks of this thing, kicking him off. She gets the sword back, gives it to the child, but she doesn't want involvement. She doesn't want to get in. Here's your sword, kid, but I'm not your hero. She's doing the Wolverine. I'm not the hero of this universe, okay? The kid is just amazed. Oh my god, I didn't know you could do that. You have to help me. She keeps doing this like specific like Indigo Montoya.
I am Ruthie, whatever, a plan, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It's like the Moana thing.
100%.
I'm Moana of Motunui. You're gonna fucking do this shit.
100%.
I am the chief's daughter.
And listen, while I disagree with the motivation and like how it's written, balls of steel on this kid. Mm-hmm. Okay, genuinely. Because these are scary alien people.
And I think that is fairly accurate to the comics, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like she is just kind of that's just.
And I can take a ballsy kid character. Okay,
yeah.
I love a I'm gonna look so dumb to the internet right now. I love an Ellie from The Last of Us.
Yeah,
sure.
I love a kid who's been on hard times who is a badass. Mm-hmm. I just feel like it's established better there.
This man of course said that he loves a kid.
That's not what I said. We're cutting this from the episode immediately.
Did he?
Anyways, moving on from there. Did he indeed? Moving on from that moment, of course, we leave the bar and we go back to where Crypto is staying, where we're getting a phone call from Superman, who does show up several times in this movie, and in a very cool scene that I can't wait to talk about how much I loved later. We're getting a call from Superman. We're ignoring calls from Superman. But, actually, we're going to answer this call from Superman. And the door's being knocked on at the same time. We go to answer, and, of course, Ruthie is standing out there. She's tracked Supergirl back to her little trailer home. Side note, I did like that Supergirl seemed to be just, like, staying in what amounted to, like, a spaceship trailer park.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was a fun visual feature for me.
That was.
I liked that. They start kind of conversing. They take the dog outside to do his business. And I was confused about this. So a bunch of dudes show up at the spaceship, the barbarian spacemen from before. Or no, they're not spacemen. They're from the planet. The barbarians show up. What did they call them in the film? They kept using a specific phrase.
Marauders.
No, not the
Marauders.
Marauders.
That's something else.
Brigades.
Brigands.
Brigands.
The brigands show up, right?
Yeah.
We get the other ships coming in. To me, it doesn't seem like they're being quiet about their arrival, but Supergirl and Ruthie do not notice their arrival until Crypto starts barking and runs at the door. At this point, bro's already in her spaceship. He's already inside the door, peeking around, looking around.
Eating her cereal.
He's eating her fucking Cheerios, okay?
Yeah,
the plot decided that she has to be turned away, and they are in a red sun.
And so here's my question. She has super hearing, right?
They're on a red sun.
Okay, but she still has fucking the ability to punch a giant alien off a space.
But
wall.
Okay, that was
again,
using momentum.
But again, I
If
think
you watch-
you're right. Where
Right.
it's like
Okay.
they did not explicitly say she's got kung fu ninjutsu
Yeah.
powers. But that is also like
I'll
it
give
can
it
be
to you.
credited to her. She's been fighting for a long time.
I'll give it
She's
to
been
you.
in a bunch of scraps.
She's also hungover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'm
She
not
does not
gonna
have super
relinquish
hearing.
the complaint, but I'll turn down.
She
the
does not
variety,
have super
Okay. She doesn't have super hearing in this moment.
Yeah.
Which the movie didn't explain to me.
I will say, to be fair, they have not established a superhero well in.
That's also true.
They have not established it well
You know
in
what?
DCU.
Actually, for you guys at home, I'm watching Superman and Lois. We talk about superheroing a lot in that show. That one might be on me. Even so, I do think it was block strange that she didn't notice them until Crypto noticed them. But at this moment, Crypto starts running back, does get shot by some sort of dart device by the lead brigand, and is injured. And they fly off in the ship. Kara comes over. She's worried about her dog. We get a hard cut into a little hospital room where we're now dealing with Crypto, who seems like he's dying, like he's whimpering. First of all, fuck you, movie. I understand that we have to do it. Stop making dogs whimper in my ears. Stop doing it. I understand on a level that like we have to be able to tell that kind of emotional story. You have to be able to have that resonance. I understand no dogs were hurt in the making of this movie. Hopefully, they better not be. But man, it hurts my heart every time it happens in a movie when I hear that little whimper. Also, this dog looked good. I thought he looked good in Superman, but in this scene specifically, I noticed like little bits of dirt in his fuzz, like in his fur near his whiskers and snout and stuff. They don't have whiskers, do they? Dogs have whiskers. They have whiskers.
Yeah.
I noticed a little bit of fur, like dirt in the fur, and I was like, that's some fucking good CGI. Good points to you, Supergirl movie. And it's explained essentially that this is a necrotoxin of some kind that's going to paralyze Crypto, and that he has 3 days, 72 hours before this is irreversible. The antidote, of course, is with the lead brigand. We need to go track him down and take him. So our motivations are aligned. Now Ruthie needs to find this guy and kill him, and Supergirl needs to find this guy and grab the antidote. And this whole time I'm sitting here thinking, great, I hope that this stays consistent for the whole movie. So we're on a space bus. Okay, we're on a space bus, and I actually do like the way this scene is set up. Okay, I like the cut through. This gave me a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. This scene specifically, as we're seeing sort of these different aliens. Kara's got some fun moments where like this is, it's like a Greyhound bus but in space. Like these are the people that you don't want to be around for a 5-hour road trip.
Someone's vomiting.
Somebody's vomiting. Somebody's sleeping on her shoulder.
Yeah. There's a guy with the hookah.
There's the guy with the hookah. Yeah. And so we're on this bus. Of course, Ruthie shows up. Supergirl, oh my god, Ruthie shouldn't be here. And then space pirates show up, and we start having a big old fight on the bus. I have minimal problems with this scene, except for the needle drop that I talked about earlier, that I just don't really think fits. Makes this scene to me feel a little bit more like discount Guardians of the Galaxy. But I did enjoy overall getting to see Supergirl use her powers for the first time in this movie. Now that we're away from the Red Sun planet, she's flying through space. She's fucking these space pirates up, frankly, which was fun to watch. I did enjoy that, but once we finish off with these space pirates, we get to go talk to my favorite character of the movie, the bus driver, Seth Rogen, baby. There was a pop in our theater, and it might have even just been our little 4 section in the back when his voice instantly came on. It's Seth Rogen's voice.
Yeah,
you know what
can't
it is.
put him in anything without it being recognizable. Yeah. It's like you're not Donkey Kong. You're just Seth.
You're just Seth Rogen.
Yeah,
exactly. So he shows up and starts saying funny stuff about, I'm a coward. Actually, I'm not a coward. I helped you guys out with that so much. He knows where the brigands are. He can send us to where they are.
I don't have. What was the line?
My god!
If
I had weapons,
we need fuel or balls, and I don't have either.
I don't have either of those. So.
He has some very funny lines, but he knows where the brigands are, and he can send us after them. So he gives us some information that we need that sends us to
the pirates.
He knows where the people are who can
pirates.
Tell us where they are.
He knows who knows.
He knows who knows.
Yeah.
He knows. Yeah. So we go to yet another bar where this time Kara's going to do some arm wrestling, okay? And she fucks this this space baddie up, okay? This alien. The original guy that sits down is super like spindly looking, and while I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking she's gonna have no problem with this. But then the movie does do a fun trick where they bring over like a bigger dude, and I, as an audience member, am going, okay, is she not gonna be able to do this? But no, she breaks his fucking forearm. Okay,
bone out.
Instantly, there are lasers all over this girl.
Every person in the bar.
Every person in the bar, guns up on Kara. Okay, and now we get yet another fight in this bar.
Explain the context for what's happening in the scene and what planet they're on and why. And like I think that has to do with, especially with the little girl in this scene, right? She's not targeted for a single moment, and I think the reason for that is because she's such a high value. What they call it, merchandise.
Well, because we're getting some vibes in this movie, and this is another issue that I have not so deep. I don't feel so strongly about this, but it is, I think, a lack of strength in the writing here. Mm-hmm. We're getting a lot of dark intonations about what's happening to these women and these girls that are being kidnapped, but it doesn't seem like a theme that the movie is that interested in exploring.
Mhm.
It's just set dressing.
It's just like they're doing this bad thing. This is bad. We're not going to show you that because that's awful.
Obviously, I don't want to see it in
Nobody
the Supergirl
wants to
movie,
see this.
right? But I do think we could have dug deeper into that theme.
I think
It feels strange that it's brought up multiple times, but it's always surface level.
this is one of the things that I do have major qualms about, and I will talk about this a lot.
Please.
And there's a major plot
I'm gonna leave some
hole
runway for you,
earlier
buddy.
on, but it just surface level. It feels like just a reason to hate the pirates. They're doing a bad thing. They're stealing little girls.
Mhm.
They're doing bad things with those little girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to give me something like that, I want more out of the villain in that case. If you're going to make them do something so despicably evil, I want to see what ramifications that's having on like the people. We get a little bit of that in a scene coming up, but it doesn't feel like a well-rounded idea that was put into the script. It feels, again, like you were saying, like we need the bad guys to do a bad guy thing so that the audience knows these are the bad guys and we have to hate them.
My question is that necessarily a bad thing? Because I feel like something that people have complained a lot about in the past is like trying to make every sometimes it doesn't feel like there's necessarily winning when it comes to writing villains, because it's like, do we either make them like Thanos, where we make them borderline the fucking protagonist,
Right.
to show their motivations and give you a reason to like not necessarily root for them but understand them, or do we just do like, hey, bad people are bad and they're doing fucked up shit? And I think the movie did that really well with Krem, and I don't think necessarily like, especially for, PG-13 movie, Supergirl, like there were girls in our theater, like young children, and I'm kind of surprised by that because of like, from the get-go, early screening wise, it sounded like this movie was of darker tone. But like it's they don't need to get into any more depth with the shit that's happening to these women without being like, hey, this is a bad guy. And
so I think my complaint has been a little bit misunderstood, because I agree. I don't think we need to get deep into what is happening to these women. I think that would be a poor choice for this movie overall. But I think when you invoke something like that as a theme, you have a certain responsibility to handle that theme with care.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's handled with care here.
That's
I think
fair.
it's just tossed in as an afterthought.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
Especially in a movie where we already have bad guys who are doing bad guy things.
Yeah.
They come in and kill a guy in the first. They kill a whole family in the first scene. They orphan a little girl, right?
Yeah.
That should be reason enough. Mind you, it would be better if they made us care about this little girl more.
Yeah.
But that should be reason enough in a movie to go, those are the bad guys.
Yeah.
We don't also need to tack on SA as like a thing.
Absolutely.
Unless we want to explore that
And the ramifications of it.
condemn it in a more specific way than just like this bad, that's why they're getting taken out.
Yeah.
And not a huge complaint. I think that's a weaker point of the writing, but it's not something I'm going to die on a hill about.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts about that before you continue on?
I
I'm sorry.
actually do have a couple of thoughts, and this is something that I definitely have like put a lot of thought into. It's a major plot hole for me. In the very beginning,
Okay.
I think they're there at the farm for this family, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, we're just here for the swords.
The
The
weaponry.
swords are just like at this point what they're there for. And like, here's the keys for the swords."
Yeah.
That and they haven't even like that could have been the opportunity where they bring in the plot of them stealing the girls. Like, hey, no, we're actually here for your daughter.
Yeah.
And it could have been, hey, we're trying to hide this daughter, but instead he throws an axe at her, or
No.
maybe he throws an axe at her. I think he throws
The,
an axe
the,
at
the,
her
go-
brother.
the brother
Yeah.
breaks out of the room.
'Cause
I don't
he's
even
listening
know.
to music.
I don't even know if he realized there was invaders in there. He was
No,
listening.
he
to
did.
It
music.
seems like he was
Yeah.
distracted.
And then he's just like, bleh! And then fucking axe to the
Yeah.
back.
I was
Dead.
confused
The
about
mom
that as
lost
well.
her shit.
She grabs the knife off
She
the
grabs
table.
the knife. He
gets killed
immediately rocks her
instantly.
shit.
And then
And then Ruth
Krem
is
just
He doesn't even
fucking
turn to her.
leaves. He just like
He just
forgets
leaves.
about the little
Yep.
girl.
No swords.
And just
they take no
yeah.
swords.
Take no swords. They just burn the place down and
But-
then just leave.
They could have. It's potential that like they didn't know that he was that she was there, because like
For
they
sure.
did establish. We didn't really quite get to that in the recap yet, but like with that family, the daughter's pictures are taken off the wall because they can't think about her necessarily. But it's also like they could have. Ruthie's family could have done the same thing in a preventative measure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That also kind of does go back to your credit of like they could have explained that a little bit further.
They just could have dug into it.
Yeah,
a
and
little
I
deeper.
agree. They definitely could have had that opening
This
scene
movie,
a little bit.
I think a
higher.
lot of its
It should have
writing
been longer.
problems is that thematically it's very shallow.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I don't even hate the scenes that we're getting. Some of the lines that we're getting are the correct lines
Yeah.
for character progression, but it feels like just that. It feels like a checklist.
Yeah, you can't
It
kill
feels
him.
like a
It'll make you not as innocent.
exactly.
And there's no payoff in the end for these girls. They're going.
They
to
get a
this
We
shot.
just
place,
save them.
They get a
stealing
shot.
all
We get
these
the
girls.
They get
X-ray
one
shot,
shot.
and then they're saved.
They get
Yeah.
one shot.
There's a shot where they, I think, are shooting guns.
That's what I'm
They're-
saying.
The
is
girls
they
Ah, I
get
forgot about
one
that, yes.
shot.
Yeah.
They
they're
get one
shooting
shot.
guns, and they kill a couple of the raiders or whatever. But
Do we ever get a line in this movie from one of the women that's been taken?
Nope.
No, we never get a
there's-
single
You know what?
word
Okay, that's
from-
100% to y'all's credit.
not
They
even-
are just set dressing.
not
They're
even
just set
not
dressing.
even the girl that was with that family
Yeah.
that tried to do
She
the
was
swap
just
and
running
everything.
I would have loved. I would
No
have loved a
lines.
line from her when her parents died.
There's
I'd
no
have loved something.
There's no revenge. I mean, if these guys are doing these awful things to these young girls,
Yeah.
there's no catharsis of like, okay, they're getting their revenge on them. There's no. I mean, and I have the problem with that as well. Is like the only girl in the whole movie that does anything worthy of note is Supergirl.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, they get their shot. Now let's let the main character do her thing.
Yeah.
And Supergirl's like, no, actually, you don't get your revenge. I'm gonna deny that.
I'm gonna
to
take it
you.
from
Sure,
you.
And then I'm
that's
gonna do it.
fair. I
Well-
guess it is kind of. She's kind of. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I have a couple quick things.
Yeah, please.
So with that, a couple rewrites definitely would have made the movie better. One
Punch
doing,
it up for me, Nick.
Yeah, doing.
I want
with,
you to take it and
yeah,
punch it up for me.
With that, what I think could have happened, like maybe Krem was back was like at that battlefield, maybe had shot Kara like one more, like he had one more arrow, shot her one more time, and he's like has the axe up, and instead of Lobo coming in,
we need to talk about Lobo.
Oh,
yeah.
we're gonna get.
we're
to
gonna
Lobo.
yeah. Oh my god, we haven't even talked. Yeah,
We
anyway,
have not even
uh,
talked about Lobo yet.
Like I know that I think rearranging some of those events where she had already freed the girls. I think the payoff could have been, he has the axe up. He's about to kill Supergirl with the arrow, and that's the moment that I think he should have been shot by the girls with like that grappling hook thing.
Yeah.
And then
they should have taken him out.
yeah.
Maybe the girls killed
If,
him.
if,
Yeah.
that, if that's
Yeah.
the theme they want to establish in the
Yes.
movie,
Yeah.
they should have
And
been
then-
a moment for them.
Yep.
If they want to do a girl power moment,
Yep.
it's not
But
a
they
super
can't
girl
do that
power.
because
and
then
then-
that's a person taking revenge for themselves,
Yeah.
and they can't do it.
Exactly,
Supergirl
yeah.
has to be judge, jury, and
Yeah.
execution.
And then going back to how they established it in the first place felt very telly instead of showy.
This
What-
movie is very telling.
Yes. What they how
I disagree with that.
well how I think it would have been done. How I think it could have been done a little bit better. They don't mention. They just mention that it's women or females being taken.
Sure.
They don't mention that it's girls. It's actual children.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then when I think it's Lobo who starts like slashing the things down, and I think if that was the first moment that we saw that these are girls, like these
Yeah.
are children, and I think having a quick moment of that's when Supergirl goes, oh, this is significant. Not that kidnapping women is
That's thematically
Yeah.
resonant with what we see earlier in the
Yeah.
film because Supergirl does take a stand in the
Yep.
bar because
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
child, it's a child.
Yeah, and so I think that would have been a moment of, I have to take this much more seriously than just, my dog got shot.
And I think she
You
did
know.
do that. The moment for her that moment for her is whenever she sees the bodies in the alleyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
don't think they to counterpoint. I don't think
Yeah.
they tell that. I think it shows that it's like they could have, I guess, had the like, oh yeah, these are all children. Like, you
Yeah.
know, that could have hit her more.
Yeah,
But, like,
absolutely.
She still sees the ramifications
Yes.
of her narrow-mindedness,
Right.
Because like, and that goes into like the flashbacks of like her mom going like, hey, you don't have to be nice, but you need to be good. Like that, I think that's where she's like, oh, I need to be
Yeah.
good. I can't just be thinking about my dog.
I think that's an important distinction between, and mind you, I could be wrong about this, so feel free to correct me. But my understanding of, after coming out of this Supergirl movie, after diving into some Superman stuff recently and seeing the movie last year, my understanding of like a main difference between these characters is that Kara is not a save everyone person like Clark is. Clark
No.
is the guy that is like, if there is even a 0.01% chance that I can save everybody, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure
that squirrel.
I'll save that fucking squirrel.
Yep.
Kara does not seem like that person to me.
Nope.
She does seem like somebody who inherently wants to save.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to damage, she wants to save. But it does seem like she's more discerning about where her energy is going.
She also saves a little bit more begrudgingly.
Yeah,
you know?
she does.
And I think that's because, but, you know, again, I think it's like that is a part of her character.
But I think that would have strengthened what you're saying if we get to see, like, I mean, I agree. I think it was a little bit more show than tell in this instance. I do think this movie is very telly. In this instance specifically, I think it's a little bit more showy, but still not perfect, and we're still doing some telling. This movie likes to tell a lot. We'll get to some of those scenes. But I do think it would have been helpful for Supergirl's character if we further showed that, like, there is a definite moment where it is a decision and it is because they're children. Because, yes, we can agree that any kind of person, human being, alien, whatever living being you want to describe, getting that kind of treatment, nobody deserves that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a character making a decision to go save somebody.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool if they discerned, or if they showed that there's a different sort of discernment between Kara and Superman. And I got that in vibes, but the movie didn't explain that to me in any sort of way. I don't feel like it was a focal point as it could have been. And I think it would have strengthened her character overall.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this section of the movie before we
I think maybe
continue?
get like a little bit more into
Let's
recap.
push on just a
Yeah,
little bit
push on.
further, because we're still in this bar and there are some barkeeps here. And these barkeeps, man, they speak a little bit of the common tongue. I liked the common tongue. I like that.
I didn't like that.
You didn't like that?
No, I think it gives into the thought of like Earth is the main focal point of everything. You know, because we know that she's speaking English,
Right.
And so the second that she talked, because she talked to Clark like this,
Yep.
Yeah.
So the second that she says to a fucking fully alien, which I understand they're human-esque, whatever,
Yeah.
that's Star Wars, you know. But once they start speaking English and you refer to that as the common tongue, it's like, oh, this is the base.
Yeah.
This is the baseline.
Yeah.
That annoys me. It makes it like, again, this is like early on in the universe. I feel like, especially with what we've established, it's like, yeah, there's interdimensional travel in this universe,
Right.
like in the DCU. You know, we got that with Peacemaker. We got that with Superman. What we don't have yet is like, you know, the JLA fucking watchtower yet. We don't
Right.
have like aliens fully as a part of human civilization, at least not that we've seen.
Well,
you know?
let me clarify, because I actually don't necessarily mean that I love it for the movie and the universe.
Sure.
But I love it in a reference to something like D&D, where we talk about the common
Yeah, like
tongue
Kong.
as
sure.
being like
Yeah.
a shorthand for like, this is why you get to understand. what
That's
these
fair.
people are
I might be
saying.
getting a little bit lost in the sauce.
No,
I
that's
just
okay.
don't like being
I
like,
actually really agree with what
yeah,
you said.
it's like, oh yeah, it's
So
common
further
tongue.
retrospective, I actually don't like that for the universe.
Yeah,
that they're building,
yeah.
But I got a little
As a
smile
reference,
out of it,
sure.
being like,
Yeah.
oh, haha, that's why I get to understand what these aliens
Yeah,
are saying.
yeah.
And I think that also kind of brings up another point on why this movie would have been better as like a third movie,
They're
a second or
trying-
third movie.
well-
It would have been better in a more established.
This would have been a fun
if
Supergirl
Supergirl
sequel.
would have been more established.
Yeah.
They should have. I mean, yeah. I guess the question there is like, would it have just been better as a full Superman 2? You know, and bringing Superman and Lex into the galaxy? Because like the issue that this movie is just presenting from its existence is like, because I agree. Like, I don't know. I think it's the matter of, one, they don't want to bring Wonder Woman or Flash or any of these other big characters in quite yet because they've had movies so recently. You know, and it's like especially controversial when it's that. Like, you know, Ezra Miller, Gal Gadot, not the most well liked actors.
Yeah.
They
Don't
want
you
to
have
give
enough champagne?
They want to give
fill the
those
Nile?
characters. Imagine all the people. They want to give those characters time to breathe. That's why they need to introduce this other strong female character.
Right.
You know, Supergirl is an icon. You know, and she can be you know, huge. What's like role model to this new generation.
And that's
of
a
moviegoers.
testament to what you were saying about having younger like girls in the
They were
audience
in our
going
theater, you know?
to see
Um,
this movie
so-
like I might have seen a
but
Spider-Man.
But the issue that this movie is facing is that it's simultaneously having to establish her character, give us somebody that we want to root for, that hopefully we're getting to see in the future. Because, like, Supergirl, if we're doing a long-term DCU thing, I don't know, I haven't read all of the arcs, but I know enough that Supergirl is a massive part of of crisis events in the comics.
Yeah.
She was dead in the comics for like, what, 15, 20, 25, like a long time.
She was dead for a while.
She was dead for a long
Yeah.
time, and it was like a haunting thing because she was ripped away from existence until like New 52, New Birth, whatever.
Right.
My point being, we're supposed to care about this character for the long
Mm-hmm.
haul, and we're supposed to get attached to it while also doing a adaptation of a beloved comic run.
Mm-hmm.
Already a hard thing
Yeah.
to do, while also establishing this other side of this entire brand new universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's what Thor and what Guardians did for the MCU of like establishing the cosmic area, but it's like, oh, we're establishing this universe fresh though.
Yep.
Like we don't have a vibe yet, you know, things are still a little bit muddy, especially when you're doing multimedia with like Superman, Creature Commandos, like certain comic stuff. I don't know. Like,
I've heard that comics are going to be included as well.
Yeah, like
For comparison,
And
this
video
would be
games.
like starting a rebooted MCU with an adaptation of Spider-Man Blue.
yeah, well,
Which would be like-
oh wait, that's the Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, which would be a really fucking weird place to start a new iteration of
give
that
it
character.
like, and that's to give your argument credit as well. Of like in the comic, it's a lot easier to like understand things because
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, it's full of issues.
wider universe. And the other thing is, it's like, you know, the Green Sun thing. It's like, oh, you can't really include that from the comics if you're not going to talk about Lex. At least as a fan, it's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah.
But then it's also like
It leaves
it
weird
sucks.
implications on the
It,
table.
Yeah.
it leaves weird implications, but it also sucks because it's like, you got to think about it from a certain movie making standpoint where it's like we want to be interconnected, but we can't be super interconnected because we don't want to exclude everyone who didn't see Superman
Yeah.
last year. You know, like
yeah.
I don't know. It's a hard and like Supergirl was kind of at a losing position in a lot of ways from the get go, in the same way that like the Black Widow movie was. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah.
this was never really gonna work out fully because like Black Widow had its own reasons. Supergirl, it's like this is the second go, and it's
Yeah.
for a character that is not quite as well known, but also people could mistake for being like Superman. But then
Yeah.
you know we got to go with the vibes of Superman
Yeah.
marketing wise, but we got to go with a completely different vibe movie wise.
Yeah.
It struggled.
It
So I went on a hard
and
tangent
it
there.
struggles further as we move over to this house where the barkeeps are keeping Kara and I'm already forgetting the name of this little girl.
Ruthie.
Ruthie.
We're keeping Kara and
Wait,
Ruthie
we
upstairs.
did establish Lobo in the bar as well.
Oh, I'm so
Before,
sorry.
yeah.
We do establish
Yeah.
Lobo in this bar. Jason Momoa. Ooh, okay, baby. We're not getting to this plot recap anytime soon because I have a hot take, and I think you guys are gonna hate me. I
if you
did
say-
not love Lobo in this movie. I had moments where I really liked him. I had moments where I found him to be a little confusing. He has sort of the same motivation issue that I've got with some of the
Okay.
other characters.
Sure.
I thought his look was fun.
Yep.
I thought Jason Momoa gave a really great performance.
Jason as Lobo, dope.
Jason as Lobo, very fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
Jason. I'm
The
close with
character
him, so-
great. Visually, I thought he was. There were elements that I thought were underwhelming. I mentioned earlier the cigar.
He just had this cigar.
Yeah,
it was
the
like
cigar.
he kept bringing it out for like.
There was
it was
a
like
moment-
a GTA character bringing it out
Yeah.
from his
And
inventory.
I didn't even mind the cigar's existence.
the never-ending stogie.
Yeah.
My problem with this never-ending stogie was the fact that every time he took a puff, the smoke was so understated, and I felt like that was a choice for this movie. They could have done something really artistic and fun with the smoke for this.
Yeah.
He's a demon, right?
Okay.
No.
What is he?
He's an alien.
They mentioned it in the movie, but it was a throwaway.
So
line.
He killed his entire race,
Yes.
Right.
and because
Oh.
of that, he became basically
Yeah.
immortal or some
But
shit.
you know, but I know you don't. But I'm
That's
asking.
okay.
Do you know why he killed his entire race?
I know.
He wanted to be unique.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Granted, that is pre New 52. That is pre a couple universe reboots.
Right.
But that is like the original motivation on why Lobo did that.
I'm not sold on the Lobo character in this movie
Mhm.
until the scene that we get with him and Ruthie in the jail.
Yeah.
And that moment, some of the lines he says there, I'm like, cool, I'm here for this guy.
Yeah.
I'll see him. I'm enjoying him.
I thought it was just annoying introducing him in the bar. I felt like it could have been more of a thing. Like, it felt like the only reason that they introduced him in the bar at all was so they could have that trailer moment of, aren't you that dude from the bar? Calling you the same thing.
Yeah.
And that was a big complaint as well. That's kind of a separate thing from like the recap of the plot. This is just like, and this is a movie thing in general. It's not just Supergirl. Stop, and this is why I respect. I told you this before the movie because you didn't watch any trailers.
Didn't watch a single one.
I
went into this
need to
movie
get better
blind
about
as
that because
fuck.
we are watching. They're giving away too many good moments. You know, it's
Yeah.
like literally one of the big shots of like Ruthie being protected by Supergirl with the thing exploding.
Yeah, at the
above
very
her
end of the movie.
Stop putting the climax of your feature in the trailer.
Exactly. That's such a big issue right now.
Yeah.
I agree completely.
But to go back to the cigar thing super quick, I think that's just because Hollywood is so anti-smoking nowadays. They glorified it so hard for a while, and now they're just like, especially with vaping.
But in that sense, I think don't give him the cigar. Give him some alien thing that produces a vapor that's like yellow.
I think it's all the same. I think in the eyes of Hollywood executives, it's all the same.
No.
Okay.
And I think a cigar that's just kind of there is the most that they could probably do while being faithful to the character and making executives.
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, I think they knew that if they didn't give Lobo the cigar, it would have been like not giving him his face paint.
Right.
They
It's
also,
so iconic with the character.
Right.
and they got to keep it a little understated because otherwise you can't really. Because Lobo isn't a villain, He's kind of not even an anti-hero. He's just kind of there.
Yeah,
especially
he's
in
a
this
bounty
movie.
hunter.
Especially in this movie, He's just
Well,
kind
that's
of
clear
there.
to me because I'm hearing two Superfolk reference him, or not. Superman doesn't reference him, but Kara definitely knows that Superman knows who this guy is. If Kara knows that this guy killed his whole race, she's probably had a conversation with Kal-El at some point. It's like, hey, you heard about this fucking crazy face paint, demented member of KISS that
I'm
got
so
kicked out
sorry.
of space?
Quick sidestep. I know this is a Supergirl episode. This is the type of stuff that I'm so excited about the Jimmy Olsen show for. Because there is a Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd show that is coming.
Oh, God.
It is a show. It is going to be live action, I assume.
Yep.
With Skylar, whatever his name is, as Jimmy Olsen and whatever the fuck. I don't know how they're going to mix those two characters together, but it does seem like it's going to be one of those shows that bridges in more of these gaps, that can answer more of these questions. Because it's like, that's the most frustrating thing about the MCU, you know what I mean? Is we have years in between movies, and then we have shows that are all insular. I want a show that branches all of the other bullshit. I want the modern Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly.
That's what people need.
Well, they had one planned for a while, the Department of Defense one that never got.
Oh,
put in.
well, no.
Or not Department of Defense,
no.
Department of Damage Control.
Department of Damage Control, right.
DOD is super.
Yeah.
I'm in the Superman trenches at the moment.
Yeah. They had Powerless.
Moving forward
That's
with the
different.
plot recap, though, you guys. Just to keep us moving, we do meet Jason Momoa's Lobo in the bar. We get some fun lines back and forth. Eventually, we get taken out of the bar by the barkeep couple. We take them back to their house. They know the brigands. They know a way to contact them. They can get us in contact so we can go take on Krem. And while we're sitting in the house, I was also confused about the motivation in this scene. And that's why I'm going to keep bringing it up, because I do think the motivations and the writing are very muddy in this movie.
Yeah.
Kara in this scene seems to clock that something's off early on. At least while I'm watching, I'm going, clearly she's noticed that something's off here. But then she doesn't do anything about it and does drink the suspicious liquid that they give her.
Yeah. That was.
I had a thought about that.
Please.
And it made me upset.
Please elaborate.
I respectfully to the writers, and this goes back to the power scaling issue and what are the rules. It is so you need something from Krypton itself. It has been actually fairly well established in the comics.
A regular toxin doesn't fucking take out a Superman.
Yeah. What in the actual fuck did they put in that tea to
make her woozy?
To make her woozy like that
on a planet without.
And also,
the red sun.
if it's supposed to paralyze.
I was trying to think. I was like, were they on the red sun? Were they on the?
No, they were on yellow. If they were if that's only supposed to paralyze a non-Kryptonian person, you mean to tell me that it's going to make a Kryptonian woozy? If it's going to make a Kryptonian woozy, it should be killing other people.
But even outside of the power scaling, I just found it odd that she would drink that drink at all.
I would argue it's because we just had a 15-minute long flashback sequence about and that's obviously her thinking. Well, she also was telling Ruthie about all of her shit. Why she understands where she's coming from. And that's the only piece of character development between those two.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we do get the flashback.
We get the flashback.
I missed the flashback in the recap. So let's talk about Krypton for a second.
Let's finish this thought real quick.
So we get the flashback, and I think that brings her back into the mindset that she had slowly been getting out of. It's like the one step forward, two steps back. I am on this adventure. I need to save my dog. I've got this fucking girl with me, whether I like it or not. And then it's I just had to lore dump about all of my trauma on this child. Who's also dealing with so much shit. Yeah, this is a bad situation. Yeah, I'll take a drink. You know, like again, I can understand where you might be, where your thought might be. Tell me that, but it's like I don't know.
It's not even tell me that. It's just that I think again the motivation of it is muddied because the scene itself is telling me that she's suspicious. The way that it's shot, the way that she's looking at them,
fair.
The fact that even after that flashback, the whole thing is that she like looks at the wall, realizes that it's been a minute, and she goes, "I'm gonna go check on them and see where the brigands are." And then she steps out there and still and they're being sus.
To be fair, they were sus from the get
They
go.
were being sus from the fucking get-go.
You've got friends that
They've got friends who know the brigands.
Go stay in this room and be a bitch.
And they're telling her about their daughter who was kidnapped before they give her the drink.
Oh my god, and then bringing up the whole superhearing thing. She would have heard the conversation that they're having. Why does she not hear shit? I know the Kryptonians learn. I know on Earth. I know Clark learns to drown things out. But you're learning this right now.
I'm learning this right now. It's difficult to drown shit out.
So yeah,
they very briefly. You also missed this.
It was very briefly.
Very briefly,
Yes.
she got to Earth, and it's like, hey, your powers are gonna hit in like 3, 2, 1, and then just screaming.
Yes. The thing is, Clark is always listening.
Always.
He goes from instead of trying to because he goes through. There's always a story where Clark is learning to drown out his senses. Something bad happens, and so he learns to always be listening. And they make it a point in Lois in Superman and Lois that Clark is teaching Jordan how to tell what is an actual emergency,
what to filter out.
So straight up, why are we ignoring if we are establishing that they have the super hearing, they need to establish. Like, is it the comic book version, or is it like what version are we getting? Are we getting where they're? Sorry,
no, that's okay. So Superman and Lois is a tangent / question because my understanding, and I think that show is very good. I've liked it so far. I'm about 3 seasons in.
Yeah.
They do a good job of showing instead of telling in that show. I think in a lot of ways. And one of the ways is with the ELT device that they use. Because my understanding of it, as somebody who's not a Superman fan. I don't think they ever had to explain this. My understanding is that Superman just made the device or had somebody make the device and is always listening for that frequency.
What is the ELT device?
It's a little trigger
in
device.
Superman Lois, Clark gives his every member of his family this little device. I don't remember what ELT stands for.
It's like specific frequency. Like hit this and
it's a beacon.
If his son hits the button, Superman from across the world knows my son's in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay,
and he knows exactly where they are.
It's his own little bat signal.
Exactly. But they never even have to explain it because the rules are so concrete there that I, the viewer, can extrapolate that, okay, Superman is always tuning out these other frequencies.
Yeah.
He knows that if he hears that pitch, that's what that thing comes from. We do get some really weird stuff in this movie where I just, again, don't understand what the rules are. And that makes enjoying some of the action scenes, which are well shot.
The action is very fun.
Are fun to watch. It makes it just a little bit too confusing to fully invest in for me. And this also is a thing where we're talking not in circles, but we're talking a lot about it, where it genuinely very much could be a thing that is so much simpler if you're a comic fan. If you've read some Supergirl comics, if you're more versed in the DCU than I am, then fine, great. I think that a new universe has the responsibility to establish for a new audience what the rules are. I think it's absolutely great that somebody who loves Supergirl comics can go see this and enjoy it for that and see the things between it. But I do think overall that's points docked against the movie.
How long is this movie? Do we have like
hour
and 45
Hour 48? I think just a kind of blanket thing based off of all of our thoughts so far that it's like we could have just maybe used an extra 20.
An extra 20 would have been great.
An extra 20, like give 10 of that for a full, or give 15 of that for like a full, like more development of Ruthie.
Speaking of 20
relationships, and then 5 minutes of like just, or 10 to 5 minutes of actual like Clark developing Kara's superpowers a little bit, because that is like a shot where it's like, oh yeah, your powers are going to start kicking in. And I was thinking like the argument that I guess you could make about why it's a little bit iffy, the power scaling in this movie is it's like she's just straight up more inexperienced. Clark grew up from birth with his powers pretty much. It's like whatever age he was, whenever he started getting powers, is just he learned to live with it. Kara did not. She does not have that muscle memory. She's having to fucking just deal with this shit, So it's like, and I think it's like I don't know, it's kind of a cop-out, but it's like a little bit more Hulk-esque maybe, where it's like, those enormous beams that she was doing towards the end of the movie. It's like, she was pissed, like that's whenever her feelings were up.
That's my secret. I'm always angry.
She's always angry, bro. I'm ready to see a full green CGI Millie Alcock. That's what I'm ready for.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of 20 minutes, though,
Yeah.
we do get a full 20 minutes of this hour 48 movie, it feels like, of a Krypton flashback right before we
Which
go
is
into the
fine.
scene.
And I
Which
think
is
that's
fine.
fine.
Because I did enjoy the
But-
Krypton section of this movie.
But then you could have extended the movie and made it to where like we actually get more of the plot, because it's like, okay, we're understanding Supergirl, we're not understanding the dynamics of this actual story.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. But we
got so much better character development in the flashbacks alone of Kara from the beginning of the flashback to the end of the flashback than we did, I feel like, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
We understood the dynamics between her mom, and her father.
I'm going to try for the third time to recap this flashback, everybody.
Sorry.
We go to Krypton.
It's okay.
Anyway, it's a new format, everybody. We go to Krypton and we get to see some stuff, which is fun because this is different than the Krypton lore that I know. I don't know if this is from the comic, Nick. Please tell me if it is.
It is.
Okay, so the world Krypton gets destroyed, but we get like a little bubble around a section of Krypton.
Yeah, that's the thing
that
with
flies
comics.
off into space,
Yeah.
and they
Yes.
get their own little society.
That's
for
what
a
I was
little
kind of
bit.
talking about. Is it's like the one thing I know. Sorry again.
That's okay. No,
it's
you're
like,
allowed to interject. I
I
was just
know
trying to
that
get back
there
to the
is
recap.
a piece of Krypton that gets like shrunk into like a snow globe, basically.
Okay.
So that's getting into a whole
I
different
know.
can of
I
worms.
know that's a whole. Other
That's Brainiac stuff.
Okay.
word.
But so we
Yeah.
end up on this.
Never mind. We'll
That-
get that. Okay, never mind. We'll get that in a minute tomorrow.
We
Yeah.
end up on a place that I'm gonna dub Mini Krypton. Okay. Mini,
Argyle. Or,
Argyle?
No, that's not it.
No,
Akon.
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 No.
So we're on Akon. And
No.
No, I'm gonna call it Mini Krypton.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We are on Mini Krypton, and we get just a little bit of essentially what's happening. When Krypton was destroyed, a bunch of kryptonite was dispersed and got into the atmosphere, even in the little bubble. that they
It got
were
into
making.
it got into the soil.
Got
They
into
were
the
like
soil.
they were
Yeah.
like deep in the earth.
Yeah.
And it started
then
affecting like
that
plant
earth
life and
came with
oxygen,
them.
whatever. And it's now affecting all the Kryptonians to the point where they're
8 years
getting
later.
sick.
Yeah.
8 years later, because that's explicit. Supergirl was
Yeah.
born 8 years after they left Krypton,
Right.
which I thought was a weird choice. I thought that was a strange choice. It takes away from her being like
The
raised
one who
on
was left.
Krypton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that made me remember. Oh, that's a change they're making.
Yeah.
Because one of the more interesting parts about Clark and Kara's dynamic was always, oh yeah, they knew, like, Kara knew Clark as a baby.
She was meant to go to Earth to
Yes.
protect him. That
Yes.
was a strict change
Yes.
that they made.
Yep.
And so,
Well, the change that they made also is that she's younger, right?
Yes.
She's normally older in the
yeah,
comics?
she's normally
No, she was already older. She was already.
Yeah. No.
That was the same. She's older than Clark.
No, in the
no,
movie
no,
she's
no,
not.
no,
The movie
no.
was
Sorry,
younger.
sorry.
Chronologically, she is. She
in
was
the movie
still.
they did not say that.
Yes, she was
Did they?
still born before Clark
No,
because
no.
she is a.
No, in the movie she's not.
Okay, all right, hang on.
Am I misremembering?
So
I think so.
So no, because remember, we see while they're still on Krypton,
Yes.
we see Clark's
Yes.
ship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
in
yeah.
this version she is the
I
because they even
misremember
had the
what the dad
conversation.
said. Yeah.
They had the conversation with I'm forgetting her name again, the little girl.
Ruthie.
Ruthie. They have the conversation where they're walking away, and she goes, "So you're the younger one?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Okay, but how by how much?" She goes, 8 years. She goes, "So why is he Superman and you're Supergirl?"
Right.
Yeah.
In this version, she is younger,
Yes.
which,
Which-
I know to be different from
Yeah.
the other versions.
And that was one of the changes. As someone who loves the Superman lore from the comics, is like, yeah, one of the more interesting things is like, yeah, Kara. You know, imagine knowing your baby cousin,
yeah,
and then like you go to space, go through some time stuff, and you get to your location. All of a sudden, your baby cousin is a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Like that's just such a that's one of the big things that that usually
Of
Kara
course,
has to adjust.
It's a
to.
core part of Supergirl's
Yes.
character.
Well, because
in
my
many
understanding of it
adaptations.
too is that she tends to be a darker character personality-wise because she existed on a world that was destroyed
Yes.
and saw it happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying it's a weird choice to slice it off.
Yeah.
And so
you're right.
they do parts of that in this where she goes to mini Krypton and she still sees her people destroyed because of the virus or because of the
And that's
real
and
Krypton.
that's how they sort of adapt the time displacement. Is that it's like they just instead of having her go into the Phantom Zone, they're just having her be born later.
But it does
which
feel
I
like
think it simplifies things, but also makes it lame.
it feels like a weaker overall choice than
Yeah.
just having her have a witness
It's like,
to destroyed Krypton.
Yeah.
We don't want to fuck with the Phantom Zone yet. We don't want to start thinking about that. So
Yeah.
we're just gonna say she was born 8 years later.
I had one last super quick thought about the change. About her being born after the destruction.
Right.
One of the things that makes her character so like her motivation in the comics so much more clear. She watches her people die twice.
That makes
And-
sense. I could definitely
Yeah.
see that. It feels
Yeah.
weird that we start this movie off with a drunk Kara who I don't feel like is all that traumatized.
Yeah, and then we.
I
It's
still
again.
Traumatized. She still saw
I'll
all
give
the-
it to her.
It's
Yeah.
the same. I mean, think about it as it's a less intense version, or I guess it's pretty much the same as what we got in Invincible season 4.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
I
you're
agree.
seeing the whole planet die.
Yeah.
Like there was
Oh.
a shot in there where a
Well,
child was
Is
dead.
she seeing that? 'Cause
Before we talk more Invincible, how caught up are you?
Okay, this is not.
we
conversation.
we
Let
cannot
it
go deep into this right
No,
now.
no. It's just before we talk. Before
It's
we
fine.
say.
No,
anything.
that's
fine.
literally
He's not
it.
gonna
That's
spoil
Okay,
literally
we're
it.
not
Okay.
gonna go deeper into
Yeah,
it.
it's
But
like you get a shot of the whole planet.
again, this is one of the things where I go, I think the movie is telling and not showing.
Yeah.
And even then it's not telling very well, where I go, we get the one scene where we see, like, I think it's her mom who has this, like, disease.
Yeah.
And she's clearly dying, and then we get Kara sent off.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
it.
I
And
will-
so to me as an audience member, I'm going, I don't see the trauma as much. I don't, like, imagine, okay, let's rewind to a less popular Superman movie. We're going to talk about Man of Steel for a second, okay? Think what you want about that movie. But tell me in the scene when Henry Cavill kills Zod and starts, sorry if you didn't see
Yeah.
Superman of Steel by now.
Spoilers for a movie
Spoilers
that
for
came out
2014
13 years
movie.
ago.
In that movie, he kills Zod and he fucking screams. You see it.
Yeah.
You get to see. I don't think we ever are shown in this movie.
She flies up to
Yeah.
above the planet.
And
Right after the
oh,
death
wait,
of the
no, she,
family.
That's right
after the death of what?
right
family?
after all this.
The
death of the people.
barkeeps.
That's the death of the barkeeps, though. That's not. We're not seeing that. What do we know about what she felt about Krypton? She just talks about it.
Well, they did the shot. That's what I'm saying is like I disagree with they tell don't show is they had the compilation, which I don't necessarily love, but it's like they had all the shots of like her looking at Krypton, her looking at the parents, her like the girls like they did show that like. It maybe it wasn't the best like throughout the entire movie, but that was 100% a moment where it's like
I don't necessarily think they don't ever show and they only tell. I just don't necessarily think that it's done very well
That's
when
fair.
they do.
Yeah.
It's not like a hill to die on for me or anything like that. But I do think that as we move through this movie and we're talking about like the overall motivations, like I said early in this review, the one motivation that stands clean and clear in this movie for me is why she wants to go after crime.
Yeah.
I get that it's for the dog, and that I'm bought into because and also that's even not necessarily points for this movie. That's points for Superman because I'm already attached to this dog.
sure.
I'm more attached to this dog by the time this movie starts than I am attached to Kara.
Yeah.
And that's by default because we got him in a different movie.
Yep.
But it makes her motivations clear to start the adventure. As the adventure goes on, we have issues where I'm like, why is she allowing this child to come along? She's fucking Supergirl.
Because
Fly-
she just keeps rattling.
Fly this little
slamming
kid
around.
back to the fucking planet real quick and get back on the bus and get out of here. What are we doing? Why are we drinking strange liquids from people who are taking us to their house, right? I'm just confused about the why about so many choices she makes throughout the film. And all of it is pulled behind this kind of great performance. I really do like Millie Alcock in this movie.
So I was just gonna say something just real quick before we move on from the flashback. A massive plus for this movie that I do really want to point out, and it goes back to like the acting and performance, hard carrying this movie.
It really does.
It is very difficult to make up a language and have actors
Convincingly say it.
Sound decent.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, "Damn, I'm like
I want to learn Krypton.
I want to, yeah.
So
I have
unfortunately-
not heard a good fake language like that done so well
that it just
since
blended.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it's
And
one
you
of
know
those.
how he wrote that one because that's an actual developed
Yeah,
language that guy
exactly.
made, so
Like I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, I'm actually feel like I'm reading what they're saying, but I'm also still able to listen. Like, yeah, I'm like, damn, they are murdering this scene. Like, good God.
And unfortunately, that is a point back to the movie, and I'm gonna go ahead and just subtract that point back away because we do have to take a point away because we get no Bradley Cooper in this.
They do mention it though.
They
do
mention him. They mention him.
Which is why I thought
don't
we were
love
gonna get him.
that.
I'd love a little Bradley Cooper mug in here. I needed to see a little Jor-El Bradley Cooper mug. Okay?
There's no way we don't. Okay,
He's coming
especially-
back.
There's no way we don't see him, especially because James Gunn and Bradley Cooper have
Right.
already been working together for years.
100%.
He is coming back in, if not Man of Tomorrow. No. Especially
We're
if,
gonna get more of
if,
that recording.
If all the Krypton stuff is related to Brainiac, we already know Brainiac is in Man of Tomorrow. We're gonna get a Krypton tease at the end of Man of Tomorrow. Calling it right now.
That's fine. I can live with that. I'm just saying this movie does get docked.
You heard it here first.
Does get
Heard it
docked
here
at
first.
1 point because they
I'm the
mentioned
first person to
Jor-El,
say that
and
on
in
the
my
internet.
mind in the theater I went, "Ooh, I'm gonna get to see Bradley Cooper."
Yeah.
And then he didn't show up, and I was sad about.
I
that.
guess I fully did not cross my mind, so
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed.
I was hoping.
But we do get this scene. Essentially, Kara gets shot off of Krypton before the rest of her people can expire from this famine, this diseased famine
Yeah.
of kryptonite. And we cut back out, and she's still talking to Ruthie. She's kind of explained essentially where she's come from. Now she's going to go out and talk to these people. Again, I've already gotten into why I think this scene is a little muddy, but that's okay. The brigands are here. The brigands are here,
They
and they're here to
blow up
fuck
the
shit
fucking
up.
house.
Which I found super funny. I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but the idea
Dude.
that they sold these people out to get their daughter back, and the brigands show up and they're like, actually, we're gonna do what the Green
Yeah,
Goblin did
y'all
to
were
Aunt
complaining
May.
about Krem. I liked Krem as a villain. He
Were we complaining about him, or were we complaining about his costume?
I just
Mr.
heard general
Mr. Beefy
complaints.
Face.
I liked Krem a lot. I think he was a very entertaining villain.
I thought he was entertaining.
He had enough personality to
Yeah,
where I
he
was
had
like,
personality.
He's evil, but he's fun to watch.
He needed
Yeah.
subtitles.
I disagree.
Maybe my hearing is bad, especially in the jail scene with Ruthie. I did not understand what he was saying a good portion of the time.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm at the point in the year 2026. I'm getting where I need subtitles for movies nowadays.
I might just need
I can't
subtitles in
hear
general for
without my
movies.
subtitles.
I can't hear unless I'm also reading it.
Well, he's got the fucked up voice too.
He
He's
does.
Like the voice
Yeah.
box.
But that's
Sure.
the same reason. I mean, we talk about that with stuff like Bane, where in the Dark Knight Rises,
Yeah.
where they had to
Yeah.
do the voice modulation stuff because
Yeah.
his voice was unclear. It wasn't the entire movie. There were scenes where it was definitely better, but the one
Yeah.
that it was drawing me away from the action was in that jail
So
scene.
Krem comes into the house.
Yeah, he comes into the house. Okay,
He drinks the milk.
he comes into the house.
He does drink the
He
milk.
drinks the milk.
It's after Millie
It's
Alcock's
after
already drinking
Billy
a bunch of
Alcock
milk.
has already drank a bunch of the milk, and
So
they
she
start,
already looks like an asshole. Then he looks like even more of an asshole.
Yeah.
They start fighting until eventually, I think she gets hit hard
She
enough in the
pukes up the
stomach or whatnot
poison.
that
She
she
does
can
puke
puke
up
the
the
milk and the
poison.
poison.
Yeah, because one
Um,
of the dudes like kicks her in the gut really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all comes in and we start getting a fight scene. And I'll be honest, when I watch fight scenes in movies, my eyes glaze over a little bit, okay? So I might need y'all's help with if we want to get into any specific
I'm not gonna
moments
talk
in
about
the
the
fight.
choreography, bro. No.
maybe-
and then when the
100%.
It
And then,
splits
Well,
off.
I do actually want to mention something about
Yeah.
the
just if you have any
choreography in
highlights
this
of the
Yeah.
fight scene.
Do it.
It was interesting. So there's the moment in the fight scene where all of the girls drop out of the cages. And then it's the chaos of there's a bunch of little
Yes,
girls that
so
are
it's
escaping
now
and they're
broken
trying
out
to
onto
run
the
back to
street.
their homes, and there's the Ravagers that are
Right,
trying
right,
to
right.
raggle them all up, you know.
Yeah.
And I think she's successful and is able to, like, I guess, return a lot of the girls to their parents. It's obviously unsuccessful to save that
That
one
last
family
girl.
that tried fucking selling her out, which it's like, okay. But yeah, I thought the choreography was interesting. I was looking at a lot of the background characters in that, and there's a lot of moments where they're grabbing the girls and they're like picking them up over their shoulders in like ways, and I don't know. I think it was interesting the way that it was handled. I'm glad with the way that this movie decided to go with this kind of theme, but it just feels superficial to me again.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just the same complaint, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just the same
It
complaint.
just feels like if you're going to have the ice cream, make a bowl out of it. Don't take a spoonful.
yeah.
Right? Like, that's not enough ice cream. Get more flavor in there. Okay?
I see that.
Like, if you're gonna make a hard choice, like they're stealing girls, like explore that.
Explore
Don't
that.
just be like,
I agree completely.
Yeah, we're gonna take it back. We're gonna do stuff.
But this fight scene ends with, even though I do enjoy the fight scene, I enjoy the choreography, it ends in a place that I find super confusing.
Lobo's there. You can't forget about Lobo.
Is Lobo in for this fight scene?
Yeah.
Lobo's there, yeah.
The only reason that they establish, again, the
Right.
trailer moment, they establish him in the bar, and then he shows up because his target is
right.
one of
his
Krem's
brigand.
men.
Yeah.
He does the thing where he like ties him to the back of the bike with a chain.
Calls
and
him a
starts driving away.
bastitch.
What does that mean, by the way?
It's
Bastitch?
his
It's his version
Is it
of
bastard bitch.
It's
is
his
that what it
catchphrase.
is?
It's just a catchphrase.
Is it both of those tied together?
No,
Because every time he said it, I was like, did he say bastard?
think Star Wars where people, I think it's like Dank Farrik in Star Wars.
Okay.
It's just
It's
the
a space curse.
It's the DC Universe's version of space
Gotcha.
curse.
Okay.
Yeah. Think of it like a gender neutral bitch.
Well, that's honestly, I think.
No, you're right. People say like it's weird to call a guy a bitch and a girl a dick. Let's just call everybody a bastard as a blanket statement.
Exactly.
Well, we get what I would describe as a pretty good fight scene because, like I said, I do like the action in this movie, even if I find the power scaling to be kind of confusing at points. And it ends with what I would describe as one of many emotionally confusing, or not even confusing, emotionally flat scenes in this movie for me, where we get the dynamic between Kara and this girl whose name, again, I cannot remember in this report. Ruthie. Every time I get to a point where like it starts with an R,
Raphael.
I always want to call her Richie, okay?
Richie Rich.
But Ruthie and Kara have a falling out here that just feels like the first draft of this scene.
Yeah.
All of the moments in this movie where there is a crux, where there is a turning point, where there is a character decision being made, where somebody's being called out, they all feel like the first pass on the script.
Sure.
It feels like we're hitting the right moments. The lines are correct in wording, but I feel nothing. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm watching this girl come at Supergirl and be like, well, you're just a drunk and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
Whatever. Has any of that been established in this movie?
Yeah.
Have we seen this girl look at Kara suspiciously while Kara drinks? Has Kara been drunk since the start of the movie?
I'm curious because because there's things a while back where it's like, early testings of Supergirl aren't going that well, especially compared to Superman.
Right.
I'm curious how much is on the cutting room floor.
That's
you
a
know
good
what
question.
I mean? Like,
That's a really good question.
Because it's like all that, again, that like 10 to 20 minutes.
It does feel
really
like things
fix
are
it.
just missing.
Yeah, it's like we could have just had one more scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In between, them getting to the
Getting to
the
house.
brigands' house,
Right.
the people that end up selling them out to crime. Like before that, we could have gotten another scene where it's like to bring a thing from a while back, her helping Ruthie wash her hands.
Yeah.
Like we could have gotten something like that.
That's perfect.
that-
How do we go from the scene where Kara explains a backstory to a scene where this little girl is calling her like a drunk, useless person?
Yeah.
Where is the through line?
Well, I think it's like no, yeah, you're right. It is kind of a mess. I guess I'm really trying to play devil's advocate.
No, that's
here.
okay. Hey, listen, we're gonna chat through it.
Yeah.
We get that scene, and am I wrong? I believe this is where my segment needs to begin.
Where you're what?
Oh,
Is this where my segment needs to begin?
your segment's already gone?
No, that's not true.
What?
No, that's not true. We have not made it there.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't even remember what point the movie happened.
Did Nick pee?
When did Nick pee? Okay.
No. It's did Nick pee in this one?
We're gonna call this segment Nick Piss Diaries, okay? This is the story the NPD, okay, the Nick Piss Diaries. I have a small bladder, friends, and going to the movie theater and sitting through any sort of experience can be a bit of a challenge for me, especially because they give you those big old cups of soda.
Don't give
that you
them
pay
to
for.
you.
You gotta
I
pay
paid
for
$8
them. You
for
gotta
that
pay
shit.
for them, okay? But I had a big old icy, okay, and I finished that icy about 45 minutes
No,
into this movie.
we collectively also finished the large.
We finished the
popcorn
large
in like
popcorn
30 minutes.
and my large icy in about 30 to 45 minutes.
We chomped
And
that
I
shit
started sitting
down.
there going, this seems like an appropriate moment to go pee.
It
Mind
was
you,
the
this
worst
movie-
time to go pee.
Mind you, this movie is not a long movie. This is an hour 45. My goal was to not piss during this movie. But I did. I did get up and pee, and turns out I missed a pretty pivotal scene. I think it lands here. So I'm going to throw it to you guys. If you guys can tell me what happened in the scene that I missed
Our
when
dramatic
when
reenactment.
in the Nick Piss Diaries.
Yeah, let me do a dramatic reenactment of
Please.
becoming David fucking Corn Sweat.
Which I am very mad that I missed.
Here, I'll be Supergirl.
Hi. Sorry, do the cheeks look good? Hi.
Oh,
I'm
and
wearing my
you-
underwear.
Okay,
I don't-
so Kara
so-
does show back up on Earth and gets to meet. We get that scene.
Yeah.
It's she is in the pod with Crypto. They're outside of the Fortress of Solitude, and you have, I don't know if this is exactly where it's at in the movie. I could be wrong.
I feel like it's right here.
But that's fair because it was right after the big ass.
Because I don't know exactly what happens next, which leads me to
No. It's
no,
not
no,
here.
no, no,
It's
no.
not here. It's later when they're on the green planet.
Okay, so so when I came back, they were on the green planet, but when I left the movie, they were not yet on the green.
No,
Yes,
it's
they
when
were.
she had the bag on her head.
Guys, I need somebody
You're
to
right.
tell me where we go from the fight with Kara.
All right, we have the fight with Kara and her. She goes up to space, does the scream.
She goes up to space, does a scream, goes to talk to the dude who's like, "Hey, you know where the brigands
Yeah.
are. You are gonna like take me to them right now." Ruthie does what she fucking does and slithers along on the ship
Yeah.
with them. They
And-
land on the green planet, which is
Well-
not green yet. It's yellow.
Okay, this might have been where I took
This
off
is
from.
where you left.
Okay.
They land on the green planet, which is not green yet. It's yellow.
Right.
Then the second that the ship leaves, the sun turns green. Kara collapses. Ruthie starts dragging her. And
So
then
is
she
this like a
starts having-
plan again? Is this like her getting screwed over again, where the
Yes.
people that brought her
Not
here are like,
like,
we're gonna
yes,
dump her on
and
this green sun planet?
Yes and no. I don't really know. I
They-
mean,
Is that
in my
explained?
mind, not really.
They
no.
explained it in a very quick line.
It could have been.
Where because Kara tells Ruthie as she's like laying there
that they
in
knew
that cave.
they did this
like,
intentionally. Like
yeah.
the brigands set up there intentionally because they
Yes.
knew Kara was probably a Kryptonian.
Yep.
Right.
As for the other dude dropping her there right before it turned green, I don't know if that was planned.
I'm sure.
Also,
Probably.
maybe a plot hole for me. Maybe you guys can take some cement and fill this in for me. Why would they expect Kara as a Kryptonian? Because from what Ruthie says early in the movie, my
she
understanding is that the universe thinks that Kryptonians are gone.
So that's another point away for the movie. That's another point on where this movie would have been better with a more established DC universe.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Because Superman is usually well known
Right.
in space.
So they know
And
at
they
least
know-
one Kryptonian is out
Yes.
there. There could be more.
Yes. And usually people know that Kara is related.
They also, here's a quick thing.
Mhm.
Again, they could have told this.
Yeah.
They did take her ship. On her ship was her outfit. They know Superman.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the thread. You know, they could
I,
have
I, could,
Yeah.
I could see how that could be the explanation. For me, I was
because
confused and I
Superman
was
is
like,
a
I thought,
symbol.
Yeah.
especially because they made a point to point out with
But-
Ruthie that the universe thought they were gone.
Here's what I'll say actually though that does muddy the waters more. Superman is definitely
Muddy
not.
hey,
Not in
hey, look at
space
me,
yet.
Muddy those fucking waters.
He's definitely not.
He's not. Muddy
He's
those-
definitely
muddy
not an established cosmic presence in this
No,
universe.
no, not yet.
100% not.
Nope.
He probably will be in Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we get from there.
So
she's on the green planet.
She's on the green planet. She collapses. Flashback. That's where
Okay.
we see Kara on Earth. She's next to the Fortress of Solitude. Clark is just basically giving his whole thing where it's like he's talking. She's like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. You know, she's speaking Kryptonian. But he's still going like, you know, you'll
He's got
like it
his
here.
Goofy, silly,
Yeah, yeah,
David Corn sweat face.
It's just like it is her scared, but then like he helps her out of it, and she's just makes a joke about him being in his underwear. You didn't miss much. It was just a very good
But
moment.
I do think I did miss because for me that was a moment that when we watched the first flashback, the one just earlier where she's telling Ruthie about Krypton,
Yeah,
where that
all that
entire
lore.
scene I was waiting for her to
For
arrive
Dave.
on Earth.
And so then it goes from her being led to the Fortress
So
of
damn, I
Solitude.
can't believe I pissed here.
It goes from her being in the Fortress of Solitude to then her being in an apartment, which I guess is probably Clark's.
Right.
And then she is like just looking at, I guess, like a bustling city, and is like, "This can't be home." And then she starts listening to a song, and then Crypto is doing his thing.
So because I can,
Another needle drop you had a problem with?
No. Kryptonian stuff. There, I'm like, I'm sorry. Well, one, those headphones. There's no way those have any semblance of noise canceling.
It's also the big 26. We're using fucking Walkmans, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, don't pull iconography from the Guardians of the Galaxy if you can't match that movie in like musical quality.
Well, that too. But I'm
Those
also like,
orange headphones, they pulled it direcely off of Chris Pratt's head and put it on
Yeah.
fucking Millie Alcock.
yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those. I'm just like, how would the music help? In fact, actually, I don't see how Kryptonian could use headphones without because
they're
of the
constantly
super
listening
hearing.
to everything.
Well,
too.
because of the super hearing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you already hear things extremely well. Oh yeah, let's put it directly in their ear.
Because Millie Alcock looks good with headphones on in the poster.
This is
She
true.
has
She
to,
does look good
True.
with the
She has
poster.
to have good vibes. It's like,
True.
oh, look at this punk rock girl listening to earbuds, but
She's a punk rocker. Yes, she is.
And
Yes,
I
she
would have
is.
loved some thematic tie-in to Superman in that way too.
Yeah.
I feel like if we're using music as like not a theme, but if we're using it as like a background element heavily in this movie, which Superman had some needle drops. Superman was actually relatively free of music for a James Gunn movie.
That's also something that just James Gunn is good at.
James Gunn is
minus
good
the
at
finale of
movie.
Peacemaker season 2.
Yeah.
He's great at needle drops in terms of just the tone.
But Superman didn't have a crazy number of them. It had a few very
But
good
the ones that were there hit.
And
And the only
then-
one that hit for this movie was the last one.
For me specifically.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys at home have different opinions. Maybe you guys like those songs. That's fine. I don't think they fit the scenes that they were in. But overall, I think it would have been cool to get some thematic resonance between that. What I think is, probably the best line of Superman, the whole, maybe being kind is the real punk rock.
Yeah.
Now we're getting a movie with a Supergirl who is very invested in music, and it doesn't feel like we get any thematic resonance.
She's not even
between those.
invested in music, though. I think it's entirely a attempt at replicating Superman.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my take on it. It's kind of like they're trying to tell multiple stories.
This movie
They're trying
feels-
to tell Supergirl's story. They're trying to tell the story of this book. They're trying to tell the story of this universe.
They're telling
and
us
they're
the
trying
story
to
of
align
Krypton.
it.
Yep.
They're telling the story of Krypton, but they're also all trying to align it with James Gunn's first movie. But
They're
they
throwing
can't
Lobo
do
in
that. You can't take the same vibes as James Gunn with a different director. First of all, that's just kind of a bad directing move, you know?
This is a
Craig, I
James-
know you're watching, and I'm sorry.
This
if
is a
person hurts
James
you.
Gunn style movie made by committee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's what it feels
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And it's like,
There was people trying to ape a style.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that just never works out well. I'm sorry.
James Gunn, give us the Craig cut.
Give us the
Give us the Craig cut.
Give us
You've
the
heard of
Craig
the Snyder cut. You've heard of the Iyer cut. Get ready for the Craig cut.
Get
Yeah.
us
Well,
the Craig cut.
On this
Not the
planet,
Gillespie cut. The Craig
Yeah.
cut.
on this planet with the green sun, and I might be blanking a little bit too, because my understanding of the movement of the plot at this point
Yeah.
is that Kara's going to be on this planet. Ruthie does leave and gets
Ruthie
herself
leaves
captured
her,
by
gets
the Briggs.
captured, talks to Lobo.
Perfect. Now I know
Bunch
where
of
we are.
bullshit, yeah.
So we're in the jail cell with Ruthie, and
Yes.
she is right across from Lobo. We get some fun stuff here. The bars are tipped with poison and whatnot.
Yeah.
And now if you touch those, you're gonna die. This is one scene where I actually like how capable Ruthie is.
It's the
This
only
is,
time.
This is the one time in the
Yeah.
movie that I think it is played well. Her feigning a level of innocence to get a guard to come over to
Yes.
the cage
Yeah.
to come in. What I don't like about her capability in this scene is her ability to choke out the guard.
Well,
I wish
she wasn't really choking out the dude. She eventually knocked him out because of his
Sure, but she's got like her feet up in the air
Sure,
above her head. She's
sure.
doing like
And you
acrobatics.
question how the hell she learned how to do it.
100%.
You
I
clearly
would
had
have.
a thought.
I'm not defending it.
No, go ahead.
I think I know what they're going for.
Okay.
She's copying Kara from earlier in the movie, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're doing like with the guy outside.
Like,
the man with the
yeah.
dunce guy.
We really could have used again that extra 5 minutes of like Kara being like, if you're gonna do this, you need to learn how to do it well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Something.
I mean, hell, like
Yeah.
I just finished playing God of War. It's like that's kind of Kratos' whole
Yeah.
vibe. Is it's
Yeah.
like I don't want you to fight. If
Well-
you're gonna fight, you're gonna do it well.
Yeah.
Though.
And importantly, that's the kind of story we're telling. We're telling a Last of Us. We're telling a God of War.
Yes.
This is the mentor and the young kid relationship story as
Yeah.
we're going on a trip. You need to
Where's
have
the
those
montage?
moments. You need
Where's
the
our red
montage.
rocket ship?
Where's the Craig?
Okay.
Why doesn't she show her a trick or two? Like,
just a
she
trick.
obviously
Yeah.
can perform it under a
All
red
that being
sun.
said, I do like this scene, and I do like how capable she is in the ruse that she makes. I don't necessarily love how capable she is and how she pulls it off. But I do. This
The
again
concept
is
of
the
it.
scene that Lobo is sold for me, where he's doing all his fun lines from the cage. I can't even really remember what they are,
Yeah.
but there was like
He-
2 or 3 of them that made me
The
laugh out
second
loud.
that she starts fucking with him, with the guard, Lobo's just like, oh yeah,
You know
got
what it
a
was?
girl. And then
Yeah.
whenever she lets him out, he just goes
He
like,
goes, I'm so proud of you."
Yeah.
That was a clinch moment for me,
That
and
was
then she
so
disappears
good.
into the vents above, and he's like,
Lobo.
"This crazy little
He's
girl." Like,
simultaneously, he's like half a step off from if you wrote him out of the movie, he wouldn't matter at all.
yeah, he
like,
doesn't
he's
feel like
kind
he
of-
matters much.
He doesn't matter much, but
Yeah.
he's like half a step above it.
He's there.
But it's like I
He doesn't matter much, but I do think the movie is ultimately worse without him because he
Oh,
does
agreed.
serve some form of
No, he
comic
doesn't.
relief.
Agreed. He's half a step above that. But I'm just this movie has to do well enough, and like you know, like Man of Tomorrow has to do well enough because we need to see David Cornswept Superman next to Jason Momoa's Lobo. You
I
know,
agree.
like
I
them
will
in
not.
space,
I wanna see
Jason
them
Momoa
interact.
calling him a bastich. You know, like he did it really well. He was the best part of like people are like David Cornswept was the best part of the Supergirl. It's like Millie Alcock, great. The best moments were with Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Their chemistry was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like him and Ruthie's chemistry was good. Him and Supergirl's chemistry was good.
And here's the thing that bugs me too is I actually don't think Ruthie and Supergirl had bad chemistry.
No, they just didn't
I
have
just
the
think
time
they
to
had
develop.
poor writing and
Yeah.
they weren't given time to develop
Yeah.
that
I can see
chemistry.
it.
No.
It's not even
Because
like poor writing aside. It's like we just didn't have writing.
Yeah.
A lot of the good
We were
scenes,
missing
the
writing.
scenes that I liked the most were a lot of the non-verbal scenes. You know, of like of her flying up and like screaming and feeling everything. Like I feel that. I get that shit.
Yeah.
Um,
That's like a cry in your car, like a scream in your car moment.
Yeah,
after work.
And it
You're
was a
like, what
super
the fuck?
scream as well. It
Uh-huh.
was a
Yeah.
super scream, but it was in space, so you couldn't hear
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I am disappointed that we got the shot with her before we got that same shot with Superman. I think that could have been something we got at the end of last movie,
Yeah.
of him looking over the world and being like, "Man,
Right.
look at that."
That's a very Superman moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, obviously, that's where you kind of have some of their like, and that's also at the that point in the movie, she's starting to understand a little bit more of why she's doing all this.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I want to talk about steaks. Okay.
Medium.
Ribeye,
I like medium.
medium rare. Okay,
Steaks.
but I want to talk about the
Medium
steaks
rare
in
is
this
too
movie
chewy.
because they
Okay.
do confuse me.
Yeah.
And
Do we
not-
want? Sorry, do we want to finish the plot real quick?
That's what we are.
Okay, okay.
This is
Okay.
me segueing back
Okay,
into the
word.
plot recap because we're going to go back and talk about these multiple cutaways we do to Kara on the Green Sun planet.
Mhm.
Am I supposed to think she's in danger of dying? Because
Yeah,
what happens in the movie is she looks in danger of dying and
She-
then a regular sun comes back.
what
and she's
seems
fine.
like is she just dies. She gets sucked into space.
Yeah.
The sun isn't there, and then the sun is there,
Yeah.
and she resurrects like fucking Jesus.
We
you
keep
know,
cutting
like-
back to Kara as she looks more and more damaged,
Mm-hmm.
and I think as an audience member, I am supposed to be like, "Oh my God, she's gonna die. What's gonna happen? What's gonna save her?" And the answer is the rotation of the planets, and that
The
The
feels
answer is
unfulfilling.
that
plot.
it's going. The sun
convenience.
is going to come up at the right time, so
Right.
she can
Yeah.
come and save all these people.
Yeah,
Like
I didn't enjoy that.
plot.
I enjoyed the visual.
Yeah.
I liked the way it looked,
Sure.
but I did not enjoy that as the way to
Tatooine-esque.
get out of this
Yeah.
problem.
Agreed.
I'm gonna call it now. I think because they said a green sun versus just calling it what is supposed to be a kryptonite sun, there's gonna be a lot of casual fans when the Green Lantern show comes out that are gonna be very confused and think that Green Lanterns are more can kill Kryptonians very easily.
That's what I'm saying. We
I'm
need to
calling-
establish these rules.
I'm
That's fair.
When you
calling
make a
that
new
now.
universe, you have to
I did.
establish these rules.
Because Green Lanterns are weak to the color yellow.
No,
When we
not
started this
really.
podcast, everybody at home, I want you to know that I think I was the lowest on this movie. I'm bringing all these guys down. Okay, I'm bringing them all down. I'm bringing them down to my
I mean, you're
level.
good at you're bringing
Okay.
up great points.
I'm bringing him down to my
But
level.
I-
I'm
whoa, whoa,
dissecting.
whoa,
I want you guys to know I was in the theater watching this movie.
knowing that I did not like this movie very
Yeah.
much, and going, I really hope they also don't like
But,
this
here,
movie.
but here's the
This-
thing. Here's the thing. I'm sounding very negative. I did like the movie.
Well, and that's the broad point that I'll make too.
We'll get to
I
scores.
enjoyed
Yeah.
watching this movie.
Yeah.
Whether it was just because I was there with my friends, if it was because I was there in the theaters. Millie Alcock again was a
Yeah.
high of this movie. I liked David Cornsweet. I liked. I almost said Dave
Jason
Bautista.
Momoa.
I like Jason
Dave
Momoa.
Bautista?
I love Dave Bautista in this movie. There were moments
God, I
of this
love
movie
tracks.
that were high. And the visuals of this movie could be interesting in moments when the color correction wasn't getting in the way.
Or whenever the flying didn't look kind of ass.
We're gonna get there because that final scene, those flying shots are interesting.
That's
um,
an issue in a lot of movies. I think that's not even a Supergirl
It's
problem.
not a Supergirl
that's
problem.
That's a.
But I do think they did
Superhero
it
problem.
better in Superman just last year.
Yeah.
They also had less flying scenes with him though.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like-
He had more wider shots.
He had wider shots on his
Yeah,
face.
he also had other heroes to run off of.
We looked
and,
at her
other
face
cool shit.
a lot
Yeah, we had
while she
other
was
cool
flying.
shit to look at in Superman. We didn't really have other cool shit to look at.
Yeah.
I didn't hate this movie. There
Yeah.
are movies that I've seen in theaters that I'm like, why did I go watch this? I watched Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage in theaters. Okay,
And
that
you're
was,
telling me, okay, which was a worse theater experience?
This movie was not a worse theater experience
Okay,
than Let There Be Carnage.
at
But
least-
admittedly, I didn't go home and film a podcast about Let There Be Carnage.
Real
I'd have had fucking
ReelTime was
thoughts.
I didn't go and film a podcast. I just stood in front of a mirror and talked for an hour about my regrets.
I did a
in my
Willem
life.
Dafoe in front of the mirror about Let There Be Carnage.
I was
I
like,
looked at my reflection.
I was
talking
like, coward! You spent $14 on those tickets. Okay?
You bought a large popcorn.
You bought a large popcorn.
You spent $30 on Let There Be Carnage. You little shit.
So, I
What were we
want to be
talking about?
clear about the
Max-
fact that
yeah.
I actually don't hate this movie.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated with this movie because of how much I liked Superman
Yeah.
and how less excited I am for the new DCU
Mhm.
after seeing this movie.
We need-
I'm not saying I'm not going to see him. Obviously, we're doing reviews.
Mhm.
I enjoyed Superman so
Yep.
much that I will give them the benefit of the doubt
Yep.
and see the next one. But Superman was an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I needed this movie to be at least a 7 out of 10, and frankly, I just don't think
It
it
missed
is.
the mark for
It
me.
is a weak second entry in the new DCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need it, and it's not impossible because let's talk about what Marvel's done. What is the second entry in the Marvel universe?
Is there
Iron Man 2.
here?
Iron Man 2 is actually a good movie. What's the
Oh,
third?
sorry.
Iron
Oh, no, wait,
Man
no,
2.
my bad. The Incredible Hulk or Iron Man 2 come out?
Let's
No.
let's just talk about the fact that the Incredible Hulk is one of the first 4 movies of the MCU.
Yeah.
You can have a weak link in your first couple movies.
Yeah.
Sure. So
But-
we need a good third and fourth.
We
is
need
what
a
you're
fucking good third and fourth, and then when we get around to Justice League, whenever that is, that needs to be a fucking stellar movie. Okay, you can only take away so much goodwill with me for a
Yeah.
universe. You can only have 1 to 2 bad movies in your early phases before I start distrusting the projects you're putting out. And that's the point we're at with Marvel now, where I no longer watch everything that comes out Marvel.
Mhm.
We used to be in a spot where anything that came out Marvel, even if it was a hero I didn't recognize, I'd watch that fucking movie.
Mhm.
And right now we're there with DC because of the high of Superman. They need to preserve that high, and this movie unfortunately just does not do that. So
Again-
is it a terrible, unwatchable, awful movie that I hated? No. But is it a movie that deeply disappointed me? Yes.
Again, I think the main issue is it's like they're trying to establish something like while also not using other characters. It's like they should have done something that like was a little bit more distance from Superman. You know, it's
Yeah.
like you can't necessarily do Wonder Woman, but like I guess
We were talking about this
if you've
just
gone-
recently. Like,
Yeah.
it would have been, as much as I have issues with there being 2 iterations of Batman so close to each other.
God damn it!
It would have
You
been
should've
cool
just
to get a
fucking
Batman
done
movie,
Batman.
man. It would
You
have been
should've
cool to
just
get a
done
fucking.
Batman, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I'd take a Mr. Terrific movie at this point. I'm interested as hell in that character.
Well, we're getting Mr. Miracle. We're getting Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
Like we're getting several things.
Yeah.
Well,
like
We're getting Starfire.
that's
Really?
that's not DC.
Is it not? Are we still
Starfire?
releasing things that aren't
I don't
DC
think so.
The
now?
character Starfire?
You're talking about the animated show though, right?
Yeah, that's DC.
That's not DCU though. There's a bunch of other shit that's. I don't think that's DCU.
Gotcha.
Well, so
Mr.
my
Miracle
understanding
is DCU.
My
Yeah.
understanding
Creature
is that
Commandos
they're all.
is
Yeah.
DCU.
My understanding is that they're all DCU, but the frame of what the DCU is different than the frame of what the MCU is. In that the way the DCU works is because they do Elseworlds and they've established that we're doing Elseworlds off rip. Like the Robert Pattinson movies are DCU.
No.
But they're DCU else. Yes, stop before you fucking interrupt me in the
Sorry.
middle of my goddamn fucking sentence. They are DCU. They are not the DCU main continuity universe. This is an Elseworld. This is still the DC universe of films. We're all in the DC multiverse, but the Robert Pattinson Batman is an Elseworld separate from the main DCU continuity, which includes the David Cornsweet Superman and whatever Batman the Brave and the Bold are. Nick, now you may fucking disagree with me. Jesus Christ.
Nick, I'm so sorry, but that's not how it is.
Look it up. I just watched a video about this the other day.
No, okay, it's
James
it's a
Gunn
part-
said
alright,
that.
I just don't think
Out
they're
of
gonna-
James Gunn's own fucking mouth!
I just don't.
It's
think they're gonna-
Elseworlds, yes.
So it's
but
still
it's
part
not-
of DCU.
Okay,
No.
no. All right, oh, Nick, all right. You're confusing the DC universe and the DCU. They are. There's the DCU, which is what is the DC MCU,
Right.
and then there's the DC universe, which is basically just everything DC.
Nick, when you're editing this video, throw in the clip of James Gunn when he says
Well,
that the comics, the games, and the movies and the TV
here's-
shows are all
No,
attached,
I
even
know
the
what
ones
you're
that are in
talking
separate
about.
universes.
No, I know
Throw
what
in
you're
that
talking
clip
about.
right here.
I know what you're talking about. I just
He
think
fucking
that, like,
said it.
I think that the difference between this and the MCU, and I don't know, we're getting lost in the sauce at this
Yeah.
point.
We're on a podcast, guys. Have
Yeah.
fun talking. I got a question for you.
I got a question for all you guys, okay? Because we've been going longer than we wanted to go, and I can feel the anger. I can feel every one of you guys looking at me and going, "When are we gonna get back to this plot recap? Are you having fun?
So here's the
No.
Are you having fun?
here's
No.
the
I'm
difference
having
between
fun.
the DCU
I'm having a great time."
Here's the difference between the DCU and the MCU is that the
I have to go
MCU,
get that.
the
Keep talking.
MCU is explicitly a complete separate thing from the DCU, or from the comics.
Right.
Yeah.
It is its own multiverse. The DCU, in terms of the Superman movie and the Supergirl movie, is just the DCU. But then it is taking part, presumably, as a part of the mainline universe because they're going to be connecting it in the comics or something like that.
Okay, but I'm saying when
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
that you
I don't
watched the
remember.
same thing I'm saying, I'm saying that I said it directly, and you saying you don't even know. So I'm saying maybe I'm right.
Okay.
Okay, maybe I'm right.
I'm
about
saying
this.
that you're saying what I'm saying, dude.
I'm
Is
saying
what I'm
you're
saying is
what
not
I'm
what you're
saying, and
saying.
what you're saying, what I'm saying might be wrong. Okay.
So Supergirl kicks Krem's ass, and then
No, we're still on this.
Guys. Hey,
Uh,
I just want to point out, we said we wanted to get this recap done in like 30 minutes.
But are you having more
I'm having fun!
Then we're fine.
I'm having
if
fun.
you're having fun, then they'll have fun. We're okay.
We also were having we have done a lot more of a back and forth than
Yeah.
we were originally intended.
Yeah.
So, whether or
Do you
not.
want to take like 2 seconds?
No, keep going. Keep going.
Whether or not the Robert Pattinson Batman is a
Why the
Elseworlds
fuck were we even
DCU
talking about
project,
that?
I don't remember.
I don't even know.
I don't remember.
Oh, because you said Starfire wasn't DCU canon. You said the animated show was gonna be like a different.
It's an
thing.
Elseworlds thing, yeah.
Which is part of the DCU, baby. But
No,
while we're on the fucking
Frank,
topic,
that's
okay?
not-
Thoughts, Chandler? No. Okay.
So we're on the planet, and then we're off the planet, and then suddenly Millie Alcock is no longer full of kryptonite. She's got the yellow sun in her again, so she's okay. She can go back into this fight. All the while, we're on this ship, and we see Ruthie. She's coming up over the edge. She's got that rope. She's climbing up. She's got her sword back. She's ready to go fuck up Krem. And again, I'm looking at this kid, and I'm going, what is your plan here? It's okay. She's a kid. She's allowed to have bad plans. But I'm like, she's overly confident as a character that has not been established well. We get up to the top, and immediately she's just like taken off the board. Pretty much, he throws the like lasso around her, and just keeps fucking. He's doing like the
She's
fisherman
just a
knots.
plot. She's just a plot device. Like, oh, is she gonna die?
Is she
kinda
gonna die?
dies.
Is she gonna
Supergirl-
die?
Is Supergirl gonna save her? What's she gonna do?
Yeah.
And it is at this moment that Supergirl does arrive right before he can like do this girl any harm, knock this guy out of the way, and starts fighting. We get another pretty fucking cool action scene here. I'm not gonna sit here.
Oh,
act
and
Well,
then-
she's been fighting at this point.
Well, and then we also have to talk about the Lobo of it all.
They've
well,
also,
he hasn't shown
she's-
up yet.
No,
He's
he
coming.
has.
No, he has not.
He's-
He's coming.
She's been
He's not here
fighting-
yet.
No, she's been.
He's-
She's also
Wait,
been in the fight.
guys, she's not here yet.
Yes, she is.
Okay, if you let me fucking finish what I'm saying. I keep saying no, she's not, and then you just say yes, she is, and then I say no, she's not, and then you say yes, she is.
No.
Let me explain why I think that, and then you can disagree with me.
Okay.
Because the moment that Supergirl comes in is when he's about to do her harm, and then Supergirl comes flying in and grabs him and flies off, and they start fighting there.
You're correct. Well, no, because she shows up on the platform when she's about to hurt Ruthie, and then they get blown off after Lobo shows up, right? Because they fight on top of the platform.
We're not
before they
even
get
we're
blown
not even
off.
with Lobo showing up. We're just talking about Supergirl entering the fight.
I know, but there's no fight happening yet.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
she
no,
showed up,
okay,
the
no,
fight
no,
started.
Oh, okay. I think I might see the confusion because when you said she
Ruthie's already
doesn't
dangling,
have
dangling.
she doesn't
She's
have the
not dangling.
kryptonite yet, or she's being cured from the kryptonite.
Ruthie's not dangling.
It
yet.
meant-
That's-
I think mentally.
Oh, I thought you were saying
No,
that she's dead.
yeah.
Right now, he's holding her up.
Yeah.
He's got her with the rope.
Yeah.
and
My
he's picked her
bad.
up.
Yeah.
my
Well,
bad.
mentally,
Supergirl
I think
comes
we're.
in.
Sorry,
No, you're good. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say mentally.
I remember what you're
I think you and I already skipped to the arrows.
Yeah.
We're not
yeah.
at the arrows.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Supergirl arrives after getting her powers back from the Yellow
Yes,
Sun.
yes,
okay?
yes.
Takes out this guy. The fight starts. Okay. It's at this point that as Millie Alcock is kind of kicking these guys' ass, that's when we get the shot where Krem starts shooting her with that like little wrist launcher, which was super cool by the way. I like that little wrist launcher. He had.
Yeah.
Black
that was
Widow ripoff.
that was fun shit right there. Okay, it was a Black Widow ripoff, but I like it when she uses it too. And he shoots her with too many kryptonite arrows.
It's like 6.
Yeah.
They really made a point. They were like, boom, boom, boom. They like cut, and then he did like 2 more.
Yeah.
And then again, we talked about this. I have my issue with this. We'll move past it. She does end up pulling those arrows. Or no, sorry, she doesn't pull the arrows out. You're right. You're right, Nick. You were right to stop me because I almost missed it.
I wasn't about.
You stopped me earlier. I'm
Earlier.
referencing when you stopped me earlier. She's on her knees. She's got all the kryptonite in her. Ruthie looks like she's about to be. She's like tied up on the other end of the ship.
Krem says that thing about her looking pretty when she cries.
Yeah, that was a weird line.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like we're digging real shallow on this theme, and then we just move on. And I'm like, this is weird that we've added this line into this movie. But okay, intimidation or whatever. And at that moment is when we get the flash, and Lobo is right behind him with the axe, which is a fun reveal of Lobo. I like Lobo's motivations in this movie. I know I've said a lot about the different characters' motivations. His seem simple, and they're stated, and I understand them. We get the line where he wants to go kill Krem, and Supergirl's like, no, we can't do that, which again, I don't like that, but him being like, no, the kid wants this guy to die.
Yeah.
Why would we not honor
It
that?
does seem weird that she did do the switch up kind of last minute.
It does seem weird that she does that.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with her doing it. I have an issue with like the flip-flopping of it.
But I like that he seems to have reached a point where, like, the first scene they come in, Ruthie walks up to him at the bar and, hey, mister, and he, go away, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I like that we've reached a point where it feels like a weird compliment to this movie because I've complained so much about not understanding what the motivations of the character are. This is simple and dry cut, and I like it. Yeah. He saw her break out of the prison cell. She broke him out of the prison cell. Now he would like to help her fulfill that wish if he can. That makes sense to me. It's clean, and I like it. And I like this action scene. Except the moments when Millie Alcock is flying around. Because, unfortunately, they do a super close pull-up on her face. And I'm glad you brought it up before I did because I was worried I was the only one that saw it. It looked a little strange.
They all... especially the one with the bike flying above her.
Yep.
It's just like...
That was the one that I saw.
It's also just like... This might sound like a bad... for like use of words, but it's like she looked very like girlish as well in that shot. You know, it's like I don't know, like I guess she's protecting Ruthie, but it's like I don't know. I would have liked a little bit more of a badass.
I'm gonna give a point to this movie for the way that Millie Alcock is presented because we did joke about this earlier. This is not a Gooner movie. This is not. This is not a movie that puts Supergirl in like a super tight skirt that like you can see up. Like I appreciate that.
That is a through line that is good through Superman and also into this movie because something a lot of people talked about with Superman was Hawk Girl was not presented as like this over sexualized character at all. It's like you had those up close face shots.
You're allowed to have like a pretty beautiful woman in your movie without it becoming a thing that is meant to be.
Yeah, we didn't have any sort of over sexualized shots.
And I really.
She was just a badass. That's what she had to be.
I liked that. Like I felt like Millie Alcock was allowed to look like a person in this movie. Her freckles were very pronounced. Her teeth weren't like perfect. They weren't like fucked up, but they weren't perfect. Yeah. I really enjoyed the way she looked as this character, which I think is just a testament to casting. Again, I think she acted very well in this role. This CGI looked weird to me.
The best way I was sitting there, and the best way I could describe it, because up until this moment, I thought CGI has actually looked really good.
I had very little issue with the CGI in this movie.
It felt
this
like,
is a moment.
Yeah,
all the aliens I really liked. I loved all the aliens. I don't know if they did puppetry or anything with them. But
it was a lot of special effects.
I had a thought while watching the scene on the bus where I want somebody in the universe to go through every movie and just make like a dictionary, an encyclopedia of all the weird alien races we can see in these kinds of scenes.
Absolutely.
Anyways, continue.
The best. I was sitting there, and it felt like that was when a lot of the VFX budget ran out. That's what it felt like. Because as I said, it was really good, and then all of a sudden I was like, "What?"
The second fight was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think the issue is that they were in a lit setting.
Yeah.
So I do think the dark definitely hit a lot of it.
It's the same.
We got that Batman Batman The Dark Knight Rises effect where they have that full daylight courthouse fight.
You had the same complaint about like Superman with the up close shots in last year's movie. Like in the Antarctic, it's gonna look a lot worse where he's like you got bright lights fucking going against his face.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to know a factoid about that movie?
What?
Bald cap.
Okay.
He's wearing a bald cap in that scene.
I do think I saw that.
They digitally added his hair to that scene
because entirely. They couldn't get his hair to look
because they couldn't get his hair to look right. If you blow a face on a human being, if you blow a fan on a human being's face, they like squint and close their eyes. If you blow a human's face, if you blow a fan on a human being's face, they're gonna like react to the fan, and Superman shouldn't react to the fan. Yeah. So they just put a bald cap on him and digitally added the windy hair.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he did the mocap for his own.
We have this really great fight, and I do like this fight, except for some weird CGI stuff. The fight ending, of course, is we've got Ruthie down. She's being like held onto this. She's tied up in the rope still that she was tied up in, and also
Hasn't fallen off the platform.
how did Krem fall off the platform to join her there? Do you guys remember?
Lobo dropped him.
Lobo drop right. Lobo drops him.
And then he crashes down and like lands on his own.
I do like what they're
Krem
doing
has a
here.
lot of plot armor.
Yeah.
I do like what they're doing here, where she does the like roll out to like get further down.
Yeah.
Felt a little bit maybe overcompetent, but to me it read as like a last ditch effort.
I read all of Ruthie's like training as like again an unseen scene. Well, an unseen scene of like if her dad was a master swordsmaker, it makes sense she probably got trained.
Yeah.
Again, they could have shown that, but it's like I'll
give it to you.
Me, I'm always like I kind of like the details that aren't said. You know, I like the world building that you can kind of make yourself, so I'm not critiquing it that much for that. But you know, that's what I kind of.
There are better ways to do it.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's okay. I didn't hate what she did there. I thought it was visually interesting as a way to like. I like that, again, we're talking about stakes and stuff. I like the stakes of having a fight with multiple planes of action. That's always fun, and I think this movie did do that pretty well, especially in this scene where we're talking about her being down there, Lobo's up top,
Supergirl's like getting knocked onto the different platforms.
100%. I did enjoy that. Her fights are also just fun to watch.
Yeah.
The way she's moving, the way that she is more violent than Superman is, which I enjoy. The punching was. Ooh, sorry about that.
It had just enough weight to it.
Superman uses like his power, like raw strength, just like as like aura, and like he's like a little bit more calculated.
Yeah.
Supergirl's gotten into bar scraps on red planets, and she uses that.
Yeah.
It does feel like that.
You could get her. You can get a sense of character through the way that she fights.
Yeah.
But she pulls. She ends up somehow. I'm honestly not entirely sure how. We get down to the planet. Does the ship crash? Something
Ship
happens.
crashes.
Yeah.
Ship crash.
Because after Lobo blows up.
Lobo does. Yeah, Lobo does all of his.
Right. Because he gets on his fucking sick ass motorcycle and flies into the sky, which I did really like, and throws down the pumpkin bomb because he's the Green Goblin. Okay. And he does his little Green Goblin laugh as he flies off, and I liked that as well. So the ship crashes down to the planet, which again I've got issues with this
what was
planet.
super
It looks
crazy
like
is when Willem Dafoe started twerking with Jason
I
Momoa.
love that stuff. He showed up in his like black fit from that one TikTok.
Willem Dafoe actually just on screen for half a second, just fully like. He just did that stance. It was just a
That's what it felt like when he showed up in Aquaman.
A flash.
Anyways,
oh, I forgot.
he is an Aquaman.
He's actually the same character from Aquaman.
I'm in the DCU too.
Whoa, Arthur, what happened?
Arthur, you look so different. Get
So-
that cigarette out your mouth. Where are you watching?
Get down to the ground, and at this moment, it does seem like this is when Ruthie gets over to. No. She does. Kara does something to disable Krem before he like hits the ground, and that's why he's like not.
He gets
able
crushed by some debris.
Yeah.
He's crushed by debris.
Yeah.
Ruthie comes over. She's going to kill him. And this is when we get a scene from 18 movies I've seen before done poorly, where Kara runs up and just goes, "No, Kal-El, you can't. You have to give him the stone." And Ruthie's like, "Why can't I kill?"
Gal Gadot shouldn't have been let out of the house.
Okay.
Hey
So
guys,
Kara comes-
first, I just gotta talk about. Can we just talk about Gal Gadot for a minute, man?
Stop this podcast and record one
Can
about
we
Gal
just talk
Gadot
about
for a
Gal
second.
Gadot? What's up with her, man?
Here's the thing. I remember it's so weird because we're not gonna get into it.
Yeah.
So she comes
I
up.
want to.
Hey, you can't kill this guy. If you kill this guy, you're gonna carry it with you forever. This is bad. Don't lose your innocence. And Ruthie gives an argument that frankly I agree with. Right? I understand that for like the PG-13 of the movie and all, for like the friendly, it's a superhero
We
story.
can't watch the kid kill
Right.
a guy.
We can't watch the kid kill a guy and get her bloody revenge and then feel good about it after. That's not allowed, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the way we arrived at this scene is so messy. It's not well paced. It's not well told. I don't understand why Kara gives a shit at all, especially with what happens next.
Yeah.
Especially given what happens next. Who's Kara carrying with her?
Who's the person that Kara killed that she carried to her?
Because this movie would have you believe it's somebody, but frankly, I think the answer is nobody.
No.
Because if she did kill somebody and is carrying it with her, it should have been said in this movie.
Yeah.
They should have brought that up and talked about
She really
it.
just did take it upon herself.
The way it plays out for me is they send her away from the mini Krypton, and she's like, all of my family and friends are going to die slowly.
Yeah.
She assumes that they do die eventually. And then she just gets drunk and depressed about it and starts partying all over the planet. It's like, who did she kill?
So I can see the through line there, right? I actually, with you saying that, it connects a couple pieces for me, but I don't think it makes it any better, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
The through line is, and tell me if you guys agree with this, she lost her innocence as a child.
Yeah.
That's the through line, right? That's not established well enough in the movie or said to me in a way that is making it clear that that's the through line. The way that she keeps bringing it up and being like, you can't kill this person because that'll take away your innocence.
There's no connection.
There's no thematic connection.
It's also just such dog shit. It's hard to make that argument in literally anything right after bombs just dropped.
Especially with where we go right after.
Yeah.
Because this little girl, Ruthie, walks away. Okay, she's made the correct choice. In any other movie, this guy gets to live and he goes to prison. No, Kara walks up and stabs him in the throat. This is for her. This is what you did to her.
Quick question.
And this is for my dog.
Well, the first one was for the dog. The second one was
Right.
for her.
Yeah.
Quick question.
What was Krem's deal?
What did he want?
No. I don't care. I don't care about what he wanted because what he wanted was just power and women and whatever. He's just a shitty guy, and I'm okay with that. As I've already said. What was his origin? Why was he able to fucking fall? Like he was a borderline.
He was fighting a
Kryptonian
Kryptonian.
at times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On a full yellow sun.
Yeah.
And like he had the cool beads. I guess like his
We
daughter
could call
would
them
dazzle
cool
them
beads,
or
sure.
whatever. Like
The
and
beads were cool.
He had
Sure, not them being on
bring
his
your
face.
daughter work day, and he got all done up. And
Oh, you just wanted him to have other kinds of beads? Beads of love?
But like, what was his deal? Like we were never told what his actual origin was. Like he wasn't.
I'll agree with you because I think similar. We talked about this earlier with the Ronin comparison of like Ronin's less of a character in that movie, but it's
Ronin
because,
was given an origin.
But it's because the Guardians are such characters. In that movie. I don't feel like Kara and Ruthie's dynamic fits that. Like, we should have gotten a much stronger villain for the lack of strength we got in the writing for the protagonist.
Sure.
And so I'll agree with you. I don't know what his deal was.
Yeah.
No.
I don't have an issue with him being a bad guy. I wanted to know what his power set was.
Yeah.
Where did he get all of this strength?
Well,
so
that's
earlier in the movie, I don't remember which character. Oh, I think it's one of the generic ass tech space pirates.
Right.
She mentions that he has the strength of 10 men.
Yeah, but why?
But here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Does he also eat 5 dozen eggs?
Here's something that I have an issue with that line.
He doesn't know how to read.
What the fuck does the strength of 10 men mean in space? Like, are we talking? Whoa!
I mean, power comparison. What does that mean against
Kryptonian?
Like, are we talking about 10 human men? Because it's like 10 human men is not going to be as strong as a Kryptonian.
10 alien men?
Yeah,
What aliens?
maybe.
What planet?
What planet?
What's the power
What
stick?
does that mean? Like, when you're in...
What are we doing?
What's going on?
What are we doing? What's going on?
It's like we made a space movie, but they didn't know they were making a space movie. Like it's
Yeah.
like they made a space movie, but they set it on
Well,
Earth.
for a space movie, we
Well,
spend
they're
so much
adapting-
time on a planet that looks like Earth.
They're adapting
Exactly.
a story that is this space road trip,
Yeah.
but then they don't have the budget or the time or whatever the fuck it is
Yeah.
To build out
make it a
space.
proper space road trip.
Yeah.
And then they're also again having to connect. Like if you would take him, Clark Kent out, you could
Yeah.
have still established all of Supergirl's bullshit.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I mean, frankly, to be honest, at the point we're at now, I think the only Clark Kent scene that was needed in this movie, I like the scene where she comes down because I think that was probably needed, even though I didn't see it.
getting to Earth
Nick
was
Piss
probably the only
Diaries.
necessary
Yeah.
part.
But the one at the end I liked. I liked closing off the movie with her coming to Earth.
Yep.
That was
That
really
made
good.
sense.
That was fun.
To get
But if we hadn't
fully
seen
there,
Clark
yeah.
Kent up till that point, apart from the scene of her showing up to
Mhm.
Earth the first time, which again I didn't see, I think that would have been fine. I don't think we needed the video calls with him. I don't think we needed
No.
him. Oh, hey, are you still celebrating out there? We get 2 calls where he asks if she's still
Nice.
celebrating, which is strange.
Yeah.
They could have just had him try to call her, and she just declines it, and that could
Yeah.
have been what we
Yeah.
got from Clark.
But to close
like,
off, because we
Supergirl
get the
doesn't
scene
answer
where she
calls.
kills
Krem.
Cremmy Boy.
Then she goes back to the planet.
She goes back to the planet, and we
Ruthie ends up coming with her to finish celebrating.
Oh, I'm sorry. During this whole fight, at some point, we talked about this earlier.
The girls.
The girls are let out. We get the hero
Oh,
shot
yeah.
where they shoot one of the marauders. Probably the
don't have
one
any-
Lobo was after. I
They
think.
have no speaking lines.
They have no speaking
Yeah.
lines. Whatever. They're not characters. They're
We
props
can't
in this
pay
movie.
them.
Yeah. They couldn't even pay them enough to at least give like some kind of emotion after doing it when you have the shot of them
Yeah.
Also, like the shot of them and like Supergirl looks. I feel like there was like no direction for that. I feel like they were just told, "Hey, we're looking at the camera for this shot."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry to bring it back to Superman 2025 again.
Mhm.
Let's talk about like what that scene is an analog for, right? That scene that is supposed to, I think, instill hope. It's the scene of the kid holding up the flag. That's this point in this movie, and it hits in no way, shape, or form the same as that does. I cried. I teared up when that kid held up that flag and went, Superman, come on, Superman. Come on, please, Superman. That is a heart-wrenching scene. Yeah, that's a great fucking scene with great emotional payoff. And that is this movie's version of that scene, and it falls flat, unfortunately.
It falls so flat.
Yeah.
Well, and Supergirl spends the whole movie obsessing about how she doesn't want Ruthie's mind to be tainted by what she might do when, like, she shows absolutely no sadness or remorse about the atrocities that all of these little girls that she just saved. She just saved all these little girls who just went through horrible things, and they're just like, okay, run back to your fucking families, you nasty little creatures.
It really
like,
did seem like she was
like,
begrudgingly.
do you not care about these little girls at all? Like, yeah,
especially
begrudgingly
it
say
felt like
like,
an obligation.
I have to go into the ship and save them.
That's fine, but you gotta explain that more. You know, it's like, okay, you know, like, if don't make it this bullshit argument as to why Ruthie shouldn't kill this guy. Make it like, hey, I want to kill him too, but we gotta do better. And then, like, you could have that be, like, kind of an epilogue type thing of, like, oh, shit, she crossed that line, you know? But it's, like, that leaves her on more of a character arc to go on in the future of, like, oh, she is really diametrically opposed to Superman, you know?
Yeah.
And I still think that there's places to walk down that route, you know, like...
And we get an interesting thing in the Superman movie, too, that I do appreciate. And I don't know if you guys remember this or not.
I don't.
Superman does kill in this universe. He just doesn't do it on purpose or, like, all the time. There's a line where, like, I think Green Lantern might say it in that movie, where he's like, oh, this guy who tries his hardest not to kill or whatever. They say some throwaway line where it becomes clear that Superman has probably killed somebody at least inadvertently in this universe. It's maybe not in the way that Superman killed Zod in Man of Steel, but just that this is not a perfect Superman who has never failed anybody. So that is a stake in this universe, but to give Millie Alcock, to give Supergirl the thing of like, no, she'll make the choice. She will end this guy. I think that's interesting. I think it's not paid off well in this movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then speaking of paying off things in this movie, it's at this point that I'm checking my metaphorical watch thinking, I peed 35 minutes ago. This movie's an hour and 48 minutes. This has got to be wrapping up sometime soon. And boy, does it fucking wrap up quick, okay? Yeah. Because we get off this planet and
It's basically
immediately we're back on Ruthie's planet. Day's over. We're sitting outside. Supergirl's like, well...
Action's done. She goes to Earth.
It's been nice knowing you, Ruthie. I hope to see you around. Ruthie gets on the ship because they're gonna go party or whatever.
They're gonna go party with the 13.
I also thought that was good. Hey, is it okay with your aunt? Oh, by the way, I'm glad that they added in this line because this is a show not tell, but it is a show that I was gonna have that I was gonna have a complaint about. Because right before they say the line where Ruthie's like, I'm going to go live with my aunt, I was like, great, so Supergirl's going to ditch this girl on a planet with no family?
Yeah.
There's no fucking aunt. There's no goddamn
But also,
aunt.
okay.
Are you kidding me?
Where was your aunt at when
you were going to start this vengeance quest?
Fucking vengeance quest, dude?
There's no fucking
Did you get a permission slip to go with this strange Kryptonian lady? No, fucking come home.
So this aunt that simultaneously...
Your parents just died.
This aunt that simultaneously cares enough to take this child in, but also doesn't care if she fucks off to space for a couple days to go party with Supergirl.
And almost die with the pirate.
Right? So they go out, I assume party. I don't think we get to see any of it. We immediately cut back as Supergirl's arriving to Earth. And this is a scene that I did like.
Yep.
You know what? I've talked a lot of shit about this movie. I don't even necessarily like how fast this movie ends. I like she goes back to Earth and she's made the decision that she's going to be there for a while.
And be around
She has the conversation with Clark. You can tell that this is like good news to Clark. He's like, oh my god, yes. Yeah. That's what I've wanted. I'm going to have Supergirl here with me. She's going to be helping out. I'm going to have Kara with me. We get to be a family on Earth and I get to show her. Because, I mean, and that is a through line I did like in this movie of him being like, hey, you should probably be here and like, people should get to know you and you should get to know this place and you can have a home. You don't have to like just be a wanderer.
You don't gotta keep running.
And for her to get to the end of the movie and make that decision that, yeah, I am going to do that is fun for me. It resonates with me. I think the way we got there is creaky and weird and whatnot. But overall, for the like payoff of that scene, I was smiling. I was like, okay, cool. they're together now.
And
We're
also
on Earth.
introduces like how I mean now it's also a question of like, hey, how much is Millie Alcock going to be involved in Man of Tomorrow? And I don't know. I haven't read a whole lot about.
I
the
cannot
production
wait.
behind that.
My thoughts on this movie. I cannot wait to see her in a movie written by James Gunn.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
I cannot wait to see Millie Alcock put this suit back on in a movie that is written better.
What else has
No.
Craig Gillespie done?
That's a great question. Can we look up just a couple?
I
of Craig
do
Gillespie
remember
movies?
when they announced that it was he. I do remember there was some brief internet stuff about like that could have been better cast.
I also want to make a point and say this, and maybe you guys can disagree with me. I'm less willing to blame a director for a superhero universe movie.
Oh,
no.
100%.
As opposed to like if a Christopher Nolan movie came out and was bad, I'd blame Christopher Nolan.
Okay,
He
right?
did.
So we have
he did
Cruella.
yeah.
I, Tonya, The Finest Hours,
Okay.
Dumb Money. Not the he did $1 Million Arm.
Because there was definitely some artistic stuff they were trying to pull off in this movie. So he does seem like maybe you remember how they brought in Mark Webb to do the Amazing Spider-Man, and all he had done before that was like an indie movie. Because they wanted an artsier feel to the next Spider-Man series. That kind of feels like what they were doing here. They were going for something artsy.
Mm-hmm.
They was aping a little bit of James Gunn style with the needle drops and with the color and stuff like that, or the lack thereof sometimes. I'm not going to blame him for this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not actually going to blame anybody that was involved in this movie except for everybody that was involved in this movie because I think there were just too many cooks in the kitchen, man. I genuinely am getting the feeling that like this feels like a post-Endgame Marvel movie to me.
Here's the other thought: is it's like if they had done a soft adaptation of this story, because that's again what I mentioned earlier. That's immediately going to be people's biggest critique. I don't think in terms of movies or anything, you can do any sort of direct one-to-one or attempt to do any one-to-one adaptation.
I do
Like,
not want a
aside
live-action Killing Joke.
I'm talking about, oh my god.
I just don't want it. You know what I mean? Like, some stories work better in different mediums, and when we adapt, we need to talk about what an adaptation is.
But
because
I'm
an
also-
adaptation isn't a one-to-one.
I'm also
shouldn't be.
especially talking about for movies because TV shows. I think it's a different thing. Percy
Yeah.
Jackson is proving right now why it's a lot better as a TV show than as a movie. And I'm not going to be watching them, but I'm sure that the Harry Potter shows are going to be a lot better. And other people shouldn't watch those either. But like I'm sure story wise they're going to be better than the like movies because it has more time to develop everything.
Yeah.
And it'll be a better adaptation because of that. But you're gonna suffer if you're trying to make a coherent film by itself while also, like you said, trying to be a part of a bigger universe that isn't just yours. You're being told by the executives as the director that you have to include fucking David Cornsweet for at least 5 minutes because he can be a part of marketing.
Yeah.
Like it's a really tough choice, but I think like choosing to directly adapt a certain story really hurt this movie.
Well, I mean, again, adaptation, and I think that is an important thing to talk about because adaptation doesn't mean a one-to-one. We just played Batman Arkham Asylum yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, Batman Arkham Asylum is an adaptation of A Serious House on Serious Earth.
Yep.
It is not in any way, shape, or form a one-to-one. The antagonist of the comic book is not the antagonist of the game. They're taking themes from that story, they're taking a location from that story, they're taking iconography from that story, so that they can tell you a story that has similar vibes, similar themes, similar through lines, that is its own living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
We can get an adaptation that is close to source material, but to sit there as a writer and put yourself in the box of, I'm going to take this comic book that is paced as a comic book and make it work in an hour 45 film is a folly. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it didn't work here.
Yeah. I think... Also, I think this story itself would have been better as
a miniseries.
As a miniseries to a series.
I could have seen a fun miniseries out of this.
I think there just would have been better stories to introduce this version of Kara. Because again,
I'm sorry. I have a question, about, like a Superman question about Kara. Is Kara her Kryptonian name? She's Kara.
Yeah,
Kara Zor-El.
Kara Zor-El?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That's my only question.
Yeah.
Because I heard them call her Zor-El, and I thought that like Zor was her name, and then El was the house name.
Zor-El.
That confused me.
Zor-El is the last name.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or
is it Cal Zor-El?
Wait.
I'm
no,
confused.
No, it's just
El is
El.
the last name.
It's just
It's
El.
the House of El, right?
Zor
House of
might
El.
be like like a surname or something
Yeah.
like that.
Because they just mentioned
Because
that
they
in
are
one
cousins.
line.
Yeah.
It might be her mother's last name.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's okay. It wasn't
Maybe it's
super
like
important. It
a
just
hyphen
confused me.
thing.
a
Yeah,
little
I was
bit.
just gonna say Kryptonian naming schemes are not super thought fleshed out.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Well, we do.
Do you want to take a very quick 5-minute break?
We're at the end of the plot recap. We'll end up this section. We'll close out the
Okay.
recording, and then we'll take a quick break. You can go now.
Sorry, I was about to fucking.
I'm gonna close this
Yeah.
It's
section
one of
out.
those things
later.
that kind of like just.
Okay.
Hey, and this isn't an NPD, okay? This is a Caleb Piss Diaries, okay?
Yeah.
No.
Nick pisses during the movie.
Here.
Caleb
It's
pisses
gonna
during
be
the
the Pooh
podcast.
Diaries.
The Pooh Diaries. Oh man.
Oh, here.
Okay.
Do just one. Do we just want to break or do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna give us just a
Okay,
one
y'all
way.
can keep chatting. I don't care.
I'm just
Okay.
we're done with the movie. That's it.
Okay.
That's the end of the movie. We
Yeah.
get the scene with. Sorry, I'm gonna bring it to
Yeah.
you. We get that scene with Superman talking to Kara in the apartment in Metropolis. We get the scene she's gonna stay. We cut to black. It's credits. It's beautiful.
Yep.
We also actually before we cut to black, we do get some fun stuff with Crypto just fucking up the apartment. I
Yeah.
like the line where Superman's like, "Where's he staying?"
Yeah.
That was a fun like little chuckle to myself moment. And then
Yeah.
the movie closes out. We get no post credit scene, which I
Yeah.
found interesting. And then the three of us left the movie, and I had to hold down my distaste
Thoughts.
for this movie. Overall, it was interesting, and we're gonna get into our overall review
We'll
scores
get onto our review scores
in our next
shortly.
segment.
Yep.
So we'll get you there shortly. Thank you very much.
Now we're gonna move on to the final section. It's gonna be our ratings. So as of right now, we're still working on it. We have a 5 tier,
Five category
rating system, where we do plot/story, acting, SFX/VFX, writing /characters, and then this is arguably the most important one: enjoyment/rewatchability. So all these scores are averaged between what each of us gave each of these, and then we average out the entire thing to get the official real-time rating. So plot/story, we gave it a collective 6.25. Acting and it was 7.25. Honestly, after how we've been talking about it, lower than you would think.
I mean,
as an average.
I had like a 9, I think, for my acting.
Yeah, I think that's what I gave it to.
I think my score for acting might have brought it down a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't think all of the acting in this movie was great.
Which is fair.
I thought there were standout people.
Which is fair.
I think mine's
And
a
then
little bit lower as well.
I'm sorry.
I think mine was a little bit lower as well. And again, I think the main character did great.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I think that we just lost it in some of the other
Yeah.
areas.
Cool. Point 3. Sorry, not to say cool as in like fuck what you're saying.
Yeah, cool, whatever, channel.
Yeah.
Whatever.
3. Yeah. SFX/VFX. We gave also a 7.25. Writing/characters was the lowest that we on average at a 5.5, and then enjoyment/rewatchability we each gave a 7, or we averaged a 7.
Who's bringing that average on writing and characters up? Because I want to say I gave that a 2 or a 3.
I gave
I
pretty
would've
much
gave it a
all of
real
my
low
stuff
score.
like a 6 to a
I
7,
gave it
like a 6 or a
Yeah.
7.
I want to say my writing score was
Yeah.
real low for this.
I think
movie.
in the future we're gonna work on this.
We're
It's not
working
the
on
fun-
the scale still.
I was actually sitting here thinking I need to separate writing and characters. They're way more separate than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, because like you can
Um,
like the character of Supergirl with
Right.
also like
Yeah.
not liking how she was written.
Exactly. So our official real-time rating is a 6.65. Weird math.
Take that to heart.
Take that to
6.6,
heart.
Which honestly I think is pretty average
Out of
for what
10.
this movie is getting. I've been pretty staying away
Yeah.
from reviews, but everybody that's like made it
It's
through my
6
For You
to-
page is telling me
Yeah.
6 to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it feels like we're pretty on the dot
It's
with
a-
what we're feeling about
It's
this
above
film.
average. Like it's like I'm not
It's
gonna
not
go.
a bad movie.
It's not a bad
Yeah.
movie. I'm not gonna.
It's
go,
not a Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It's not a Batman
Yeah.
and Robin. It's,
like Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not Spider-Man 3. It's not Batman and Robin, but it's also not Superman. You know, like,
100%.
and that's unfortunately what a lot of people are going to be comparing it to.
That's the only thing we have to compare it
Yeah,
to right now
yeah,
for this
fair,
new
yeah.
DCU.
Yep.
With that being
yeah.
said,
I'll throw it real quick. Final thoughts.
well, as I was
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
closing thoughts. I
Yeah.
think we should format this a little bit.
Mhm.
60 seconds. Give your closing thoughts
Mhm.
on this film. Everybody's gonna go. Can we use like a phone for like
I
just a
got
little timer
Yeah,
real quick
yeah.
and make sure it's silent so we don't have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
sound play?
absolutely.
You don't have to use the full 60
Well, I
seconds.
You don't have to use the full 60
Yeah.
seconds.
I was gonna do a branded song actually. As
Oh.
the timer.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
BMO.
So I guess that's okay. He's just taking a poop, guys.
Yeah.
He's taking a poop during the real-time review.
No. Oh my god, we got the piss diaries, we got the poop
Let me
diaries.
go
Now we
first
also
because I started with the non-spoiler.
Let's do
review.
it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Chandler,
What,
60
I
seconds.
want to make
on
sure
the clock.
BMO stops though because
Oh, he's out.
He's
I
out.
don't want that
He's
fucking
out.
shit to be. Okay.
You don't want that shit?
Now he's gonna do the zoomies.
I don't want it to be
Yeah.
in the middle of my 60 seconds. It can't be
After,
wasting my time.
after you.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, going back to what I said in my non-spoiler review, I think it's a superhero movie and things happen. And I think genuinely, like when I was starting that, like I think you guys kind of took that as like, oh, it's a short like nothing, but like that's how I feel about this movie. I feel like things happen. I don't really care about what happens, and I don't feel like we really learn anything. Like what's the great takeaway from this movie? That Supergirl can do super things. Nobody else really can. Nobody else really does. And there's funny quirks and qualms with this movie, but if you're looking for a movie with depth, I don't think you really have that. I think you have a good superhero movie that moves the plot along. That's it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's there.
It does better than
No.
others. It's like you said. It's no Suicide Squad 2016. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
It is not.
it's
it is
better
not
than that.
Yeah.
Nick, your closing thoughts on this movie?
3, 2, 1, now.
So, as I said earlier, I'm actually going to kind of say something I said earlier. It felt very safe. It felt a lot of the characters just felt very basic, very surface level. It almost kind of felt like the writers weren't taking, or whoever the makers of the movie almost weren't taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like Millie Alcock. I'm excited to see more of her Supergirl. I hope we don't get the same director in the future. I don't want to blame the director, but it's at a certain point, it was a fine movie. I hope maybe we see more of Ruthie. I think it'd be interesting to see, just because I would love to see a redemption of that relationship for someone who does.
That's okay.
love
I
the
was just
comics.
making a face.
No, you're good. As someone who does love the comics, yeah.
Perfect.
Lobo, I will say real quick. Lobo, not gonna lie, a bit more forgettable than I thought he was gonna be.
You're fined $5 for going over your minute, unfortunately.
Hey, you know what? If we're already over, and you know what?
And that's another $5. Caleb, your closing thoughts on this movie?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was much better than what a lot of other, like, it was probably my favorite female-led superhero movie so far, because it's like, Captain Marvel, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I feel like its messaging was a little bit too heavy-handed towards the end. Mm-hmm. Black Widow was just kind of trash because of COVID and because timeline-wise. Similar sentiments to, like you said, Nick, where it's a rough second installment in the DCU, but I liked it enough to where I'm still excited to see where the characters will go. Mm-hmm. We do have the question of like, okay, what was the point of it? But it's like, you know what? I still think we're early enough to see like where the point may go. It does leave me wanting a lot more. I wish we got a little bit more satisfaction, but I'm excited to see more of Millie Alcock. I think she did the best with what she was given. And I like Lobo a lot. I think it's a great example of like somebody getting into the role that they were kind of meant to play.
Yes.
Aquaman was never going to be Jason Momoa's strong suit. Lobo's much more up his alley.
Yeah. Okay. Well, to close it out, I'll give my final thoughts, and then we'll go ahead and get on out of your hair, get on out of your ears. Okay.
Yeah, you don't like women. That's very much the final thought.
Well, actually, I do want to open with a comment about women.
Saying that you don't like women.
With a comment about women. There is a way to do a female-led superhero film that doesn't feel like pandering, and I don't feel like this movie feels like pandering,
100%.
which is
I
to its
100% agree, and that's why I think it's better than Captain Marvel.
It is to its credit. Captain Marvel did feel a lot like pandering. We get no moment in this movie that feels to me like the not the low, but like the girl power moment in Endgame where it feels very corporate, it feels very specific. We don't get that, and I will give this movie its due for that. I do think it is a strong movie in that sense. I think it kind of fails in most other senses. Not a spectacular failure, but a 60% is a failing grade in most schooling systems as far as I know. So a 60% on this movie is going to be an F for me, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is a movie with muddled character motivations, poor character writing. BMO, stop that right now. You're in the middle of my time. And unfortunately, it's just not a movie that really left me wanting more of this movie. I am excited to see more of this character written by a different writer, directed by a different director, and under a different camera operator. I'll be hyped
with better CGI.
I'll be hyped to see her when she's next to Supergirl in Man of Tomorrow.
Next to Superman.
What did I say?
You said next to Supergirl.
Well, I will love it when there's a Bizarro version of Supergirl.
I'll
next
take.
to Supergirl.
I mean, we could get Bizarro Supergirl at some point.
Finishing out my closing thoughts because I am out of time. I think that this movie was a movie, and I had fun seeing it with you guys in theaters. And I'll be interested to see what the next installment of the DCU was. But leaving this movie, I'm less excited for the overall scope of the universe than I was after Superman.
Yeah.
With that being said, guys, if we're all out of thoughts, because BMO's clearly decided
BMO
that this
thinks
is
we're
over.
done, I think.
Yeah.
This has clearly been decided that we're done.
I think it's
Yeah.
nap time.
BMO, baby, you cannot do that right on the mic.
I'm ready to snuggle up with all you boys.
He's gonna.
He's on
that-
the mic.
He's just rubbing on the
Yeah.
mic.
With that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching our episode on Supergirl the movie. We've had so much fun watching this movie. Some of us did.
I'm Caleb.
We had so much fun hanging out, talking about this movie for you guys. We'll be back next month to check out Spider-Man Brand New Day. Until then, we've been Real Time, and it's been real. See you guys later.